Zealand, Sophie Egnott-Johnson and Madeleine Parker. And in lane 6, Hungary, Flora Galsko and Natalia Luka-Kash.
In gara in questa prima qualificazione in corsia numero 1 il Sud Africa, in acqua 2 Taipei, 3 la Lettonia, 4 la Romania, 5 Nuova Zelanda, 6 l'Ungheria.
So our first race is underway, the under-23 women's doubles sculls. South Africa, Chinese Taipei, Latvia, Romania, New Zealand and Hungary. And we'd like to say a very warm welcome to all the spectators here on the course. Lots of people now gathering in the grandstand here, now down near the finish line. Very good morning to all of you.
Un saluto speciale anche a tutto il pubblico che sta iniziando ad infiammare la ski-run. Siete davvero tanti già a partire dalle prime ore dell'alba, un piacere vedere le tribune che vanno a colorarsi e siamo partiti ufficialmente anche con la prima qualificazione. Abbiamo 6 formazioni a gareggiare e siamo in acqua con lo spettacolo della prima qualificazione del doppio femminile.
You can also
So the race nicely underway now around the 200-meter mark, and all 6 crews have got underway very strongly. Not much to separate them. We've got a fabulous team of commentators out on the water to follow each and every race throughout this marvelous week here in Varese. We've got Thomas Cadet, of course, many people will know from not far away from here. Tim van Vliet is with us. Niamh Hayes, we're delighted to welcome her from beautiful Era, that's Ireland, in her first World Rowing as a commentator, and very experienced Colleen Saville over from Boston in the USA. Colleen, you've been studying the form of these rowers in great form. You're out in the water looking at them in great detail earlier this morning. What are you looking forward to today?
Oh, very good morning to everyone joining us on the live stream and, of course, everyone at the course. I'm looking forward to so much today, Rob. We've got a full day of racing, as you and Luca so perfectly described earlier. We had a short program yesterday, but we're in the thick of it now. So I'm here with Niamh at the 1,000-meter mark and the race coming towards us. Niamh, what are you excited about today?
I am very excited to be here. It is my first World Rowing event commentating. So just to be here at the 1,000-meter mark, it is, looking out at the lake, it is absolutely magical. So I feel very privileged to be where I am, and we can see now the race coming towards us.
Yeah, coming towards us and looking really good for Romania. This Romanian combination in the under-23 women's doubles kicking us off this morning. Great experience here. We know that the bow seat, Morisanu, she rode in the quad had last year at the Under-23 Championships, where she finished 6th in the A final, 6th overall. So she's picked up a new partner and is back this year. They're leading the field up still 37 strokes per minute, so quite an aggressive race strategy. It's 2 to advance to semifinal A, B. Currently in those qualifying positions, well, that's Romania and then a close South Africa just behind them.
Yeah, as we're looking out on the water here, South Africa are over on the far side in lane 1. And of course, one of the scullers there, Catherine Williams, finishing on the podium last year in the women's single. So she has changed boats now this year, looking very strong there now as they are passing us on the 1,000 metre mark.
So coming through then halfway, it's the Hungarian combination, Galsko and Kaz. Kaz making her international debut in the stroke seat. So they're in the closest contention of that qualifying position. They'd have to do quite a bit of work to catch up to Romania and South Africa, who are holding on to positions 1 and 2. But Hungary certainly still in contention as they move through halfway into the third quarter. And the bow seat of the Hungarian crew, Galsko, so we last saw her at the Junior World Championships back in 2019, where she rode in this boat category, the Junior Women's Double, finishing 13th overall. So sticking with the sculling side of things, and of course graduating into the Under-23 category. So they're moving through 750 meters down. Tim, they're coming towards you for the first time today. A very good morning to you.
Yes, thank you, Colleen, and a very warm welcome from our commentary position here at the 1500. We're looking out on the beautiful Lago di Varese here in Italy. It's absolutely fabulous, and the first race of the day is an absolute treat. We can see on the far side that crew from South Africa with Catherine Williams there in the stroke seat. Currently in second position, almost 3/4 of a length back to the fast starting crew from Romania, and that crew is actually overrating most of the crews in this first heat of the women double sculls. They look very nicely composed, a very dynamic rhythm there being set by the stroke woman. And they're moving out, and they've taken the third 500 in their stride, almost a length ahead of South Africa, with the crew from Hungary closest to us in third position. But there's a challenge coming there from the New Zealand double as well for that third position. But yeah, with only two crews going straight through the AB semi-final, it's a big ask to get back on terms with the leading 2 crews.
Anche dalla postazione dei 1500 metri del percorso, una buona giornata a tutto il pubblico nazionale ed internazionale. Benvenuti alla seconda giornata di prove di questi mondiali Varese 2022. Siamo con la prima batteria del doppio Under 23 femminile, che vede una partenza sopra i 40 colpi e mantenuti anche per i primi 500 metri da parte dell'equipaggio rumeno in corsia numero 4. Bene anche la prova dell'equipaggio del Sudafrica in corsia numero 1, che è in seconda posizione. Ricordiamo, le prime 2 posizioni sono utili al passaggio del turno per la semifinale, Tim.
So with most of the time we are used to seeing the Romanian double of Bodnar and Rades, the Olympic champions, rowing in this style way out in front and leading from the start, Rob. But this younger combination from Romania isn't, well, perhaps they've taken some inspiration, wouldn't you say so, from the more senior members of the Romanian team?
Un vantaggio incredibile, oramai in chiusura la Romania continua ad allungare il margine di vantaggio, sono partite forte, hanno deciso di dominare per tutto il percorso. La finale dello scorso anno al campionato del mondo in 4 di coppia gli va stretta, ora vogliono una medaglia e la rincorrono davvero, quindi Romania e Sudafrica per le prime 2 posizioni.
Thank you, Luca. Yeah, Romania coming down, looking nice and strong as they head towards the finish line. They're going to take it by a good couple of lengths. Romania take first place ahead of South Africa in second. So they qualify directly for the semi-finals of the women's sculls, double sculls. And then there's quite a lot of open water for the remaining cat pack, which are being led home by the boat from New Zealand in lane number 5. They're followed in lane 6 by Hungary, and across in lane 3, Latvia. So it's Romania and South Africa that make it through directly to the semi-final. The remaining crews will contest the repechage.
Sul traguardo quindi la promozione, l'accesso in semifinale per Romania e Sudafrica, gli altri dovranno transitare dai recuperi.
So heat 2 of the women's double sculls sees Switzerland in lane 1, Denmark 2, Canada in 3, Great Britain lane 4, Italy in lane 5. And Colleen, I think they're already approaching your position there. Another close race?
Yeah, it's an exciting race, that's for sure, and it's getting tight up at the front. That's right, it's Canada and Great Britain having a bit of a battle up at the top of the pack, two again to advance to semi-final A-B. So looking really good for them. And who's running third in that critical position? Well, at the moment, that would be Switzerland. This Canadian combination, they've rowed together since their under-23 championship last year. They've stayed together for this season. They took 13th overall in the women's double, running up an age class in Lucerne earlier this year. So, Niamh, perhaps not surprising to see them out in front.
Absolutely not. And we can see, like, across the board in these crews, a lot of experience over the last few years. That Great Britain crew there currently sitting in second. One of the rowers there, Catherine George, she was fifth last year in this category. So I'm sure she's looking for a podium finish now this year.
Looking for a podium finish. And Tim, as they come by 500, it's of course the first round is where you want to have a good race, and they're doing just that, aren't they?
Yeah, they're having a fabulous race to kick off their tournament here, and it's so important, as you mentioned, Colleen, to have a good race in the beginning of the tournament. That could set the tone, whereas if you don't have a good opening heat, you may have to reshuffle and get yourself back together to prepare for the rest of the tournament. But yeah, it's a great race. It's a cracking race. Very different from what we saw in the previous heat, where the two leading crews from Romania and South Africa were several lengths of clear water ahead of the rest of the field. Now we can see the double from Canada being closely followed by the crew from Great Britain, coached by Peter Chambers, the former GB lightweight. And I think GB is trying to make a move and get into first position, actually, with the Swiss furious rating, but it's the strokes are just a bit short, and I think that they're slipping back.
Siamo con la seconda batteria del doppio Under 23 femminile, con Canada e Gran Bretagna che conducono questa prova, ma attenzione perché in corsia numero 1 anche la Svizzera, partita tra le favorite, vuole dire la sua e quindi parte all'attacco agli ultimi 350 metri del percorso per andare al recupero di Canada e Gran Bretagna, ma Canada e Gran Bretagna rispondono. Ricordiamo, solamente le prime due posizioni sono utili al passaggio alla semifinale, con una Svizzera veramente molto agguerrita che cerca il rientro, ma sono circa 10 metri di distacco tra le imbarcazioni di testa.
So a little over 200 meters left to row. It's Canada and Great Britain leading the field, but Rob, is there a challenge coming from that Swiss crew on the far side of the lake?
I think there might well be, Tim. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, two of them, as before, of course, will progress directly to that semi-final block. So it's a three-boat race right now for those front two places.
Una gara veloce, una gara che va a coinvolgere tre formazioni per sole due posizioni. Guardate il Canada con la Gran Bretagna, ma attenzione alla Svizzera, arrembante all'esterno che prova a rinvenire, quindi Svizzera che aggancia Gran Bretagna e Canada.
Yeah, Great Britain are making a really good push as they come down to the line. There's very little in it. This is a super close race here in just the second race of day two of the heat. It's going to be Great Britain who take the line first, ahead of Canada in second. Switzerland couldn't quite make it through. They come home in third place over there in lane one. So Canada and Great Britain through to the semi-finals. Switzerland, Denmark and Italy will contest the repechage. On to the third and final heat then of these double sculls, with the Netherlands in lane 1, France in 2, Egypt lane 3, the USA in lane 4, Lithuania in lane 5. How are they looking as they approach you, Colleen?
Looking fantastic, and it's France out ahead, holding on to that lead at the top of the field. An open water advantage currently over, well, the battle for second behind them, heating up so much, ever so tight between the Netherlands, the USA, and Lithuania. Lithuania currently the crew out of contention to advance, and between the USA and Netherlands, well, it's really your pick.
It is. They're just passing us here. First place. It is quite obvious at the moment, but the next three boats, very little between them. That French crew, they were second at the juniors last year, so they have made that step up, and they're already making their mark here in the final heat of the women's double sculls. There's quite a young crews out there. 17-year-old Hannah El-Sopki from Egypt, just 17, representing Egypt today.
Yeah, great to see so many young athletes and moving up into the racing up a category in the under 23. This race heating up so much. So France continuing to hold on to that first place position. The Netherlands holding on to that second qualifying position. And this combination from the USA in third place position, but still in touch with the Netherlands. They're now moving through the 700, well past the 750 meter mark. So Tim, you'll have to sort it out for us. Netherlands or USA? I think I know what your pick will be.
Yeah, I think that that won't surprise anybody, Colleen. I think I'm going to pick the Dutch, but that's not just because they're ahead by about half a boat length at this stage of the race, but I always back a rower from my own club with Claire de Kok there in the bow seat of that Dutch double, coming from the Kazerveenjord from Leiden, from my hometown. So that's the reason I picked that Dutch double to take that final qualifying spot into the AB semi-final. With the crew from France, the silver medalists at junior from last year, they look really good, very fluid, very nicely together. And with 500 meters left to go, I think the French have got this in the bag, and the Netherlands will have to keep an eye out to all the crews to their right, because that American crew is still lurking with just a length and a quarter of deficit to make up to one of those qualifying places, with Lithuania also in hot pursuit.
Al passaggio ai 1500 metri del percorso, anche questa terza batteria del doppio under 23 femminile, con in testa l'equipaggio della Francia. Ricordiamo argento ai campionati del mondo junior nell'anno 2021, quindi sicuramente uno tra gli equipaggi più favoriti di questa specialità. Attenzione però anche all'Olanda, che già nel 2021 è detentrice del titolo mondiale, ha cambiato completamente la formazione, quindi questi giovani atleti dovranno dire la loro in questa specialità. Attenzione anche agli Stati Uniti e alla Lituania, solamente l'Egitto è leggermente più arretrato. Una gara serratissima questa del doppio under 23 femminile.
So France looking good ahead of the field, with the Dutch following in second position. But Rob, a very nice little battle there developing between the USA and Lithuania there.
Yeah, they're looking good, aren't they? USA still, I think, trying to push to see if they get to that second place. That might be a bit of a tall order. And I wonder if France are just opening up that lead slightly now ahead of the Netherlands.
La Lituania comunque sta cercando di accorciare, viaggia a 36 colpi al minuto, con gli Stati Uniti ancora che crescono a 38, quindi provano a rientrare sulla Francia, una Francia davvero decisa ed incisiva, che all'esterno non vuole lasciare spazio nemmeno agli avversari dell'Olanda, e quindi una gara tutta da scrivere con 150 metri, Francia e Olanda che dimostrano di avere una marcia in più.
Yeah, it's going to be France as they come down towards the finish line. There's some great racing going on for third and fourth as well. But France right now across the line ahead of the Netherlands in second. They're through directly to the semi-finals. USA had opened up a little bit of a lead. They're just easing off now as they come through to take third place ahead of Lithuania in fourth. And Egypt will complete this race, and it's those final three crews who will re-go again in the repechage. Egypt with a little way to go, so in the grandstand, give them a good cheer, help them push their way down towards that finish line.
Sul traguardo quindi abbiamo visto transitare molto forte Francia-Olanda, sta chiudendo anche l'Egitto, sosteniamolo fino al traguardo.
We now move on to the heats of the men's double sculls. And in lane 1, it's Chinese Taipei, USA in 2, Belgium in 3, Uruguay lane 4, Moldova in lane 5, with Australia taking up lane 6. So, Colleen, what's this one looking like?
Yeah, it's Moldova out in the lead, holding on to that first place position, really steady. Belgium moving up on them inch by inch. We'll see if they're able to overhaul Moldova in the last 500. Australia then running third and looking out of contention, Tim, as they come by you.
Yeah, already at the 1500 meter mark, I'm very impressed by that double from Belgium. They look very good and smooth out there on the water. But yeah, the crew that has led so far, that's that crew from Moldova. Although saying that, and I think the Belgian double has just moved through into first position. And the same progression system here as we saw in the women's double just a couple of moments ago, with 1 and 2 going through to the AB semi-final. Those two crews, Moldova and Belgium, now clear water ahead of the USA, Uruguay, Australia and Chinese Taipei.
Un bellissimo punta a punta tra le prime due imbarcazioni, Belgio in corsia numero 3 e Repubblica di Moldavia in corsia numero 5. Ricordiamo sull'equipaggio del Belgio Aaron Andries, già oro agli europei junior in singolo e argento sempre ai campionati junior. Un bellissimo equipaggio questo, una bellissima accoppiata che è pronta a volare verso il traguardo. Attenzione però anche alla Repubblica di Moldavia, pronta ad aggiudicarsi la semifinale anche in questa prima batteria del doppio Under 23 maschile.
So perhaps no surprise there that the two crews who raced the World Cups this season in Lucerne, Moldova and Belgium leading this field, Rob. And but who's your pick for first and who's going to get second here?
Good question. You can never quite tell. It's going Belgium's way at the moment, but there's not much in it between them and the Republic of Moldova, who led in the early stages. Belgium just getting past them. Let's see what Luca thinks.
È una gara nella gara, una gara che di fatto ripropone le ultime 3 coppe del mondo. Da un lato il Belgio, dal lato la Moldavia, che cercano in tutti i modi di fare da rullo compressore sui diretti avversari. Queste due formazioni infatti hanno disputato le coppe del mondo e dimostrano di avere una grande esperienza. Quindi Belgio e poi Moldava.
Australia putting in a good push here to make sure of third place, but it's definitely Belgium. They timed that race just to perfection. They're going to come home and take first place, a length and a half ahead of Moldova for those 2 automatic qualification slots for the semi-finals. Australia coming home in third, ahead of the USA and Chinese Taipei. On to the second heat of the men's double sculls. Ireland are in lane 1, Croatia in 2, Canada in lane 3, Japan in lane 4, in lane 5 it's Switzerland, and in lane 6 Great Britain.
Abbiamo ora la seconda qualificazione del doppio Under 23 maschile ed è tempo di dare uno sguardo anche alle corsie. Irlanda in acqua 1, Croazia in acqua 2, Canada in acqua 3, Giappone in acqua 4, in acqua 5 la Svizzera, in acqua 6 la Gran Bretagna. Sarà curioso sentire cosa sta succedendo in acqua.
So the first sightings of an Irish boat, I think, this week. Colleen, that will please your co-commentator.
Yeah, I just looked over at Niamh and pointed out exactly we're seeing that on our speed on our iPad right now, and of course the boats coming towards us. So Niamh, what can you tell us about this Irish combination?
I'm very excited to see the first Irish crew of the day out there on the water. So Conan Pazea, representing Queen's University from Belfast, and then we have Brian Closh from Sligo. So it's great to see they had the fastest 500 there, and they are just coming up to us shortly at the 1,000 metre mark. At the moment, it's looking like their boat speed is, I think they're maybe second fastest at the moment. GBR there with a slightly faster speed, but it is looking good for them so far with the first 2 crews going through to the semi-final.
Yeah, it's looking great for Ireland, isn't it? And they're just shy of the 1,000 metre mark where Niamh and I are positioned, and they look so solid, really strong, getting great movement per stroke, and that lead just pushing them out, that rhythm pushing them out. Behind them, though, the battle absolutely on. There is a thrilling race coming down for the folks in the grandstand. So as these crews move into the third quarter, you'll want to have an eye Switzerland in closest contention to Ireland, and then GB running in that third place position for what could be an advancement if they could slip into second. Currently, though, Switzerland holding them off. Exciting, Niamh. This race is incredible.
So exciting. Just as they passed us there, it's so good to see the Irish crew out ahead at the moment. Again, looking at the boat speeds, Ireland, Great Britain, very, very similar, and they are rating about 37 strokes per minute, which is that little bit higher than everybody else. So it's obviously working for them today out there on the lake.
So Ireland holding on to that first place position, up 37 strokes per minute, as Niamh just told us. Just behind them, Switzerland continuing to hold off Great Britain. And in fact, Switzerland building boat speed, able to push GB back a little bit. And Switzerland, Tim, at a long 32.
Yeah, that's the most striking thing when you look at the double from Switzerland, that they are underrating almost all of the crews whilst maintaining one of the highest boat speeds. I think the crew from Ireland and Switzerland are evenly matched in terms of speed, but the Irish at 36 strokes a minute, 37 even, and the crew from Switzerland trucking along at 33 strokes a minute, and they tried to break clear of GB, who are still, well, I think 3/4 of a length back to Switzerland, but very impressive there from Ireland. They cross the 1500 meter mark as we speak, and they are clear water ahead of Switzerland, followed by GB, followed by a very close pack of Croatia, Canada and Japan.
Una batteria molto tirata, questa seconda del doppio Under 23 maschile, che vede in vantaggio i colori dell'Irlanda in corsia numero 1, per la seconda posizione la Svizzera, ma attenzione anche alla Gran Bretagna, partita in corsia numero 6, che continua la sua corsa, 3 colpi in più degli altri equipaggi. Cercherà sicuramente di rientrare sulle posizioni di testa, perché solamente le prime 2 posizioni sono utili al passaggio alla semifinale. Tutti gli altri dovranno per forza transitare dalle batterie di recupero.
So the second heat of the men's double sculls flying towards you guys at the finish tower, Rob. Very impressive what Ireland is showing here this morning, but I think that crew from Switzerland is trying to pull away from GB and secure that second spot into the AB semi-final.
Yeah, Switzerland still only rating at around 33, Ireland at about 36, and they've really done well. They've held first place all the way down. Can they hold on to that first place for these final few meters?
Negli ultimi 200 metri ci si gioca il tutto e per tutto, e diventa anche questione d'orgoglio, perché se da un lato c'è l'Irlanda prima davanti per tutto il percorso, all'interno c'è la Svizzera che prova ad andare in fuorigiri sulle montagne russe per provare a rientrare, ma l'Irlanda è velocissima.
It's looking really good for Ireland. They have held this all the way. Switzerland now upping the rate. It's too late for them to take first, but Ireland take it by a length ahead of Switzerland. What a terrific race for the Irish. First Ireland, Switzerland second through to the AB semi-final directly. Great Britain coming home, I think it was in third, or maybe they dropped back a little bit actually. But it's Ireland, Switzerland through to the AB semi-finals. The remaining crews will contest the repechage.
E quindi sul traguardo la conferma, la vittoria dell'Irlanda, al secondo posto la Svizzera, terza la Croazia, ma in ogni caso solo le prime 2 posizioni garantiscono il passaggio del turno, gli altri ai recuperi.
The third and final heat of the under-23 men's double sculls sees France go in lane 1, Germany lane 2, Norway in 3, Czech Republic lane 4, Greece in lane 5, the host nation Italy in lane 6.
In acqua abbiamo Germania, Francia, Grecia, Repubblica Ceca, Italia e Norvegia. L'Italia che schiera la nuova coppia Molinari-Licatalosi. Andiamo a sentire come sta andando.
So, Colleen, I suppose many of these countries will know each other. They've all raced in the juniors, and we've got a lot of former junior medalists in these men's double sculls heats.
Yeah, we do. It's a great field in the men's double, that's for sure. And you're right, we're seeing a lot of juniors both rowing up a class and certainly under 23 athletes who've raced each other in the past. As they come through the 1,000, speaking of experience and speed, France and Germany, such a battle up at the front, and behind them in their own private battle, battle. It's Greece and Italy looking for that, to see if they can come up for that qualifying position. It would take quite a bit of effort because we know that it's just 1 and 2 to advance to semifinal A, B. So it's really a bit of a race for pride between Philip Dossi in the bow seat of the German shell, Paul Kruger in the stroke seat, loads of experience, and that experience showing off. But it's the French holding on to that lead. Johan Lamral and Samuel are fantastic to see these private battles up at the front and the back, isn't it, Niamh?
It is indeed, and they are matching each other stroke for stroke. Their rates are exactly the same there as they just passed us after the 1,000 metre mark there. Looking really, really well. A lot of podium finishes in the juniors last year for a lot of the rowers across all countries in this heat. And it's interesting again to see that a lot of the rowers, you know, they were in quads and fours last year, making a change, coming over to the doubles now this year as they take the jump up to under 23.
Yeah, now's the time to try it, isn't it? And they're under 23 years. Tim, they're coming towards you. It's looking good for France.
Yeah, you're correct, Colleen. I think the French double from L'Amiral and Arc have the better of the argument over the experienced double from Germany with the experienced strokeman Paul Kruger there setting the pace. But looking at them, I don't think the Germans are really going all in at this stage of the race. I think they're happy where they are, half a length back to the French double, and yeah, they're looking very comfortable here. So perhaps they are already thinking ahead of the races to come. Following them is a close pack led by Italy, followed by the Czech Republic, Greece, and the new combination from Norway, currently in last position, but out in front, looking very impressive, France and Germany.
Protagonisti di questa terza batteria del doppio under 23 maschile, Francia e Germania all'esterno del percorso che continuano la loro corsa verso il passaggio alla semifinale. Ottima però l'azione anche dell'equipaggio italiano. Tommaso Molinari e Andrea Licatalosi cercano di farsi sotto per andare alla conquista del passaggio alla semifinale, ma Francia e Germania resistono, aumentando il numero dei colpi, preparandosi a chiudere questa terza batteria del doppio under 23 maschile.
So, Rob, how is it looking for your commentary from your position at the finish? Are France and Germany conserving some energy, or are they going to race it to a sprint finish?
It's a very good question. Not sure about that. I think they look fairly comfortable. I think France obviously would like to hold on to this first place, but it's France-Germany. It's a two-boat race for these two automatic qualification spots.
Francia e Germania, la Germania che fa battere il cuore ad Amburgo in chiusura. Sono queste le due nazioni che andranno ad acciuffare la promozione diretta, con la Francia con margine di vantaggio.
Yeah, Lamral and Arc of France cross the line ahead of Doss and Kruger of Germany. First and second, they're through to the semi-finals. A lovely race for third and fourth between Italy and their neighbours across the way. I think it's the Norwegian crew, is it? They're in lane 4, Czech Republic. And the Czech Republic just taking it from Italy. Italy in fourth, Czech Republic third, and the remaining crews coming down now. Across the line, Greece and Norway.
Sul traguardo quindi Francia e Germania, peccato per gli azzurri, si sono fermati una palata prima scivolando dal terzo al quarto posto.
Next we move on to the heats of the under-23 women's 4.
Ci spostiamo ora alle qualificazioni del 4 senza femminile.
Two heats here. In this first heat, it's Denmark in lane 1 alongside France in 2. Uruguay take up lane 3 alongside Poland in lane 4 and Spain in lane 5.
Danimarca, Francia con Uruguay, Polonia e Spagna, le nazioni impegnate in questa grande battaglia.
Speed will be lifting a little bit now as the boats get a bit bigger. The women's 4 coming down towards you, and it's looking like a really good contest, Colleen.
It's a fantastic contest, Rob, and I've been keeping an eye on this event because this Polish crew just has a load of experience. I think we're really seeing that as they come through the halfway. So great experience from the under-23 championships last year. 3 out of the 4 of these athletes rowing in the women's 8. At the European championships, rowing in both the women's 8 and the women's 4. The bow pair in the 8, the stern pair in the 4. Both of them had podium finishes. So they're leading the pack through the halfway mark. Of course, as we know, it's 2 to advance, so it's looking great for this Polish crew, and at the moment, France running second.
Yeah, but I would not knock off Spain here, who just passed us. They seem to be rating a little bit higher than other crews, and they are making their move now into the leading pack. But as Colleen said, it is that Polish crew still hanging on to that lead. Fastest speed there now at the moment. A lot of experience, as Colleen said. So it's great to see them performing so well here today.
Yeah, looking good. Poland, France holding on to those qualifying positions. Yes, Spain certainly keeping themselves in touch. And then looking across the field, well, it's over to Uruguay with their 2-seat. Chloe Caladora, just 16 years old in the 2-seat. So we talk about youth gaining experience at this under-23 level. In the French Shell Fleur Vercoret, just 18 years old. And Denmark, Steen Nielsen, 18 as well. So, Tim, they are charging towards you. Poland, no sign of slowing down. They're up at 38 strokes per minute now.
Yeah, and they have been maintaining that 38 strokes a minute for the majority of the second and third 500 meters. It looks very smooth, very relaxed as well at 38 strokes a minute. The Polish 4 still in front. But the crew from France, sitting very comfortable, much lower rating from the French crew. They're at 33 strokes a minute with the junior world champion Fleur Vaucoret there in the bow seat. And she had a little look there to her left. She's 3/4 of a length back to the leading crew from Poland. And then it's very close with Spain leading the pack. And it's basically level between Denmark and Uruguay as they pass the 1500.
Con il 4 senza under 23 femminile si apre il sipario verso le posizioni utili per la finale A in questa specialità, con la Polonia che conduce in corsia numero 4, reduce dal successo agli europei nell'anno 2021, e la Francia in corsia numero 2 in questo momento in seconda posizione, che cerca di rientrare sulla Polonia, più arretrate le altre imbarcazioni, quindi ben delineate Polonia e Francia proiettate verso la finale A nel 4 senza femminile.
So coming into the final stages of this race, this first heat of the women's 4, with 2 crews progressing through to the straight through to the A final. So Rob, I don't know if you're a betting man, but would you put any money on that Polish crew for a medal?
I'm not a betting man, so I won't answer that question, Tim, but it's a good one. But I think in terms of this heat here, they really are taking control, and they have upped their rate, haven't they? So it's Poland and France in pole position for those automatic qualification spots.
La Polonia che viaggia a 40 colpi al minuto, gli stessi colpi battuti anche dalla Spagna, ma la Polonia è veramente fuori dai giochi, là davanti alla Francia, a dimostrare di avere una marcia in più. La Francia che prova a rientrare in modo arrembante. Sono queste 2 le nazioni che di fatto vanno a contendersi la piazza d'onore, con la Polonia prima dal primo colpo e ancora prima in chiusura.
It's France who are going to take it by half a length from Poland. That's a really great race from them, and a really good battle as well going on for second and third. Third place is going to go to Spain, who take it also by half a length from Denmark in lane 1, and with Uruguay coming home in 5th place.
Sul traguardo quindi Polonia capace di dominare addirittura con 2 secondi di vantaggio. Al secondo posto la Francia, terza la Spagna, a seguire Danimarca ed Uruguay.
And the second heat of the women's 4 sees Australia in lane 1, Romania lane 2, Great Britain in 3, USA in 4, Germany lane 5.
Il 4 senza femminile continua ad infiammare il lago di Varese con la seconda qualificazione che vede in gara Australia, Romania, Gran Bretagna, Stati Uniti e all'esterno la Germania.
Well, that first heat was really beautifully fought. Great quality of racing there. And I think we've got a similar conditions here, Colleen.
Yeah, similar conditions indeed, and this race is storming by us at the 1000 GB, holding on to the lead, but this crew from the USA making their move now as they move into the second quarter of the race. GB leading by just 1 meter, but the USA boat quickest moving on the course. The story of this American crew, well, it's Texas, Texas, Texas. These are 4 athletes from the University of Texas, which won the NCAA championship in 2021, 2022 as well. There's some athletes in this shell that were champions at the NCAAs, including the Stern pair, coached by Dave O'Neill, the head coach of University of Texas, who is their coach at the international level this summer. So the USA now in that first place position. It's 2 to advance, so looking good for the USA and GB.
It is. They are matching each other stroke for stroke. But as you said, the USA slightly faster boat speed there as they head down the course. Lots of these rowers on the podium last year, and we see them doubling up a lot this week as well. Australia there doubling up in the pair and 4 this week. As well as the USA as well. So do you think it's hard for rowers, you know, when you're rowing more than one category?
Yeah, it is, right. It's a different way to sort of organize yourself and plan your week. I think they certainly train for this, but they need to be really choiceful, really mindful about how they approach each race and each round. So, Tim, as they come towards you, will anyone be able to catch these crews from the US and GB?
Oh, that's going to be very tough, Colleen, because those 2 crews from the USA and GB are really flying down the course with a little over 500 meters left to go. They've broken clear water. So GB in second position and the 4 from Australia, they're in third. And there's clear water between the stern of the GB4 and the bow of that crew from Australia. And I think when you're doubling up in these tournaments, you need to be a bit lucky as well, because this heat is really stacked with 2 of the medal candidates, the USA and GB, in your heat. It's very tough to progress straight through the A final, but perhaps via the repechage they can still make it, with Romania in 4th, by the way, and Germany conserving some energy for the wrap in 5th.
Sono i colori degli Stati Uniti a brillare in corsia numero 4 in questa seconda batteria del doppio Under 23, del 4 Under 23 femminile, con la Gran Bretagna che cerca di rientrare. Ricordiamo, Gran Bretagna detentrice del primato mondiale nell'anno 2021 a Racice, ancora a bordo solamente un atleta, Lettice Cabot, gli altre sono tutte quante nuove di formazione, con gli Stati Uniti e la Gran Bretagna in lotta per l'accesso alla finale A, i primi 2 equipaggi in finale A, gli altri recuperi.
So just a couple of strokes remaining. Rob, USA controlling this race from the front, wouldn't you say so?
Yep, they've taken control now ahead of Great Britain in second place. Australia look like they are determined to hang on to that third spot. First and second, of course, who go through automatically.
Un cambio di marcia, un cambio di risultato rispetto a tutta la regata. Gli Stati Uniti lì davanti passano davanti alle campionesse del mondo. Gli Stati Uniti mettono le ali alla schirana di Varese.
USA powering down to the line. They've opened up a good lead here, maybe even 2 full lengths, 2 and a bit actually ahead of Great Britain in second. So USA followed by Great Britain for automatic qualification. Australia coming home there in third place ahead of Romania and Germany.
Sul traguardo il sorpasso servito sul piatto d'argento. Stati Uniti capaci di conquistare la vittoria con 5 secondi di vantaggio costruiti nell'ultimo 500 metri. Secondo posto per la Gran Bretagna, terza l'Australia per la chiusura di questa qualificazione.
Next on the water, the heats of the men's 4.
Ci spostiamo ora alla qualificazione del 4 senza maschile.
In lane 1, Norway, Great Britain in 2, Australia lane 3, Ireland back, they're in lane 4, Egypt in 5, Italy in lane 6.
Norvegia in acqua 1, Gran Bretagna in acqua 2, Australia in acqua 3, in acqua 4 l'Irlanda, in acqua 5 l'Egitto, in acqua 6 l'Italia, che schiera una formazione con a bordo 2 atleti del territorio. Edoardo Caramaschi, atleta della canottieri Virate, Davide Verità, cresciuto a Monate, oggi professionista della Marina Militare, e completano Davide Comini, atleta delle Fiamme Oro, cresciuto però a Moltrasio, ed Alessandro Bonamoneta, ligure della società sportiva Murcarolo, ma professionista delle Fiamme Gialle, la Guardia di Finanza.
So the early stages of this race, it is, as you might expect, very closely contested indeed. Italy, the host nation, just out in front there in lane 6. It's just beginning to open up now, perhaps with Egypt just beginning to drop back. Great Britain also making a move in these early stages as well, with Norway in lane 1 looking competitive. But Ireland also up there. It's very close in these early stages.
Una gara davvero ravvicinata, una gara di quelle che ti incolla al monitor. L'Italia che cerca di andare subito a mettere in chiaro le regole, ma veramente veloce anche nel giro sono gli atleti della Gran Bretagna, una Gran Bretagna capace di fuggire subito forte fuori dai blocchi, stia viaggiando a 36 colpi al minuto, una Gran Bretagna che insieme all'Australia fa l'andatura, poi Irlanda-Italia.
So the front 4 boats, very difficult to separate. How are you seeing them, Colleen?
Yeah, Rob, difficult to separate indeed. They're flying towards us just shy of that halfway point at the 1,000-meter mark. GB holding on to that lead, 36 strokes per minute. The Aussies up at 40 strokes per minute. This round, it's just one to qualify to the A final. So, Niamh, it's a different strategy, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And of course, Ireland out again. And we always see their strategy. They sometimes can be a little slower off the start, and we'll start seeing them make a move now as they come towards us. We have 3 of the rowers in the Irish crew who won silver in the coxed 4 last year. 3 coming from Cork, my own home county. So Adam Murphy representing Shandon, Andrew Sheehan from Lee Rowing Club, John Kearney from University College Cork, and Nathan Timoney representing Queen's University.
GB moving through the halfway point in style with an open water advantage over the rest of the field. Niamh, that increase in stroke rate, that sort of patient start, and then really paying it off in the second half. Well, we're starting to see that materialize for Team Ireland. Ireland now ahead of Australia, no doubt about it, though. GB's got that lead, and they know with just one to advance directly to the A final, they'd love to skip that repechage, stay off their feet, and have a bit of a rest, preserve some energy for the next round. Ireland, though, looking like they're going to make a go for it. They're now through the 750 mark, charging towards that final 500-meter stretch. As they come towards you, Tim, GB, will they hold the lead, or will we see an Irish sprint?
Oh, we're definitely going to see an Irish sprint. I have no doubt in my mind that we'll see a big sprint finish coming from the rowers from Ireland. But GB at the moment in full control of this race. I think the stern pair of that GB4 race in the legendary St. Paul's 8 all the way back in 2018, where they won Henley in a record time. Douwe de Graaf there stroking that crew, and they're looking comfortable, 36 strokes a minute, and it's somewhat reminiscent of the senior men's 4 from GB, who row in a similar fashion, not that high rate of striking, but power, and they flying away from the rest of the field. It's over a length of clear water to a very high rating crew from Ireland and Australia, and of course Italy still in the mix, but out in front GB looking imperious at this stage.
Al passaggio ai 1500 metri del percorso è la Gran Bretagna a condurre questa prima batteria del 4 senza femminile, con la seconda posizione da parte dell'Irlanda, Australia e Italia. Ricordiamo, solo la prima posizione è utile al passaggio del turno alla finale A, con una Gran Bretagna con a bordo 3 medagliati d'oro nell'anno 2021, di conseguenza sicuramente un equipaggio di alto livello in questo 4 senza maschile, con Irlanda, Australia e Italia che però vogliono dire la loro.
So we already see the Irish crew at rate 42, but GB also stepping up and moving away even further, Rob.
Yeah, they seem to be opening, just over a 4.5 second lead ahead of Ireland. It may be too late now for the Irish to go for this single qualification spot for that A final. Great Britain out in front.
Gran Bretagna lì davanti, Gran Bretagna che con 3/4 della formazione campione del mondo continua a costruire la grande marcia trionfale verso il traguardo davanti a Irlanda e Australia, poi l'Italia per la 4ª posizione, ma la Gran Bretagna davvero non lascia nemmeno le briciole, mettendo subito in chiaro le regole del gioco.
Making a big point here, Great Britain. They're stretching their lead even now. It's Great Britain racing home to take this qualification spot for the A final. Good 2.5 lengths clear of Ireland, who really battled for that second place ahead of Australia coming home in 3rd, Italy in 4th, with Norway coming home in 5th.
Gran Bretagna, Irlanda e Australia, queste le prime 3 posizioni, solo il primo passa al turno, quindi Gran Bretagna direttamente in finale, tutti gli altri invece dovranno transitare dai recuperi.
Second heat of the men's 4 well underway with Uzbekistan in lane 1, Austria lane 2, New Zealand in lane 3. In lane 4 it's the Netherlands, Romania in lane 5 and Germany in lane 6.
Seconda qualificazione già in gara, Uzbekistan, Austria, Nuova Zelanda con Olanda, Romania e Germania, dovrebbe essere la Nuova Zelanda.
Now, this might be looking quite a good race for New Zealand, Colleen. Is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm seeing it, Rob. The black unisuits of New Zealand just looking so solid as they lead the field by open water from all of the crews behind them. Again, 1 to advance to Final A. This crew from New Zealand, well, the last time we saw them was at the Junior World Championships back in 2018. 3 of the 4 crew members, Angus Gilbert, Campbell Crouch, and Flynn Eliadas Watson, we saw in the Junior Men's 4 where they took silver, and their boatmate in the 3-seat, Campbell Crouch, taking bronze in the Junior Men's coxed 4. So loads of experience in this crew. They're out ahead, they're back on the international scene, and they're doing it in style.
We are also seeing Romania and Germany putting in a good race there. Very little between them at the moment, matching boat speeds. Interesting to see the stroke rates here compared to the earlier races. We see them here in the middle of the race. They are rating around 40 strokes a minute, which can be quite high at this, just passing through the 1,000 metres. But it is still New Zealand out ahead, followed by Romania and Germany.
Moving now well through the 3rd quarter, charging towards the final 500 meters. The black unisuits of New Zealand, Tim, looking so cool out there this morning.
Yeah, cool, calm and collected, and they're very relaxed as well. It's a joy to watch from our position. It's the All Blacks, it's very smooth, it's very efficient too. 38 strokes a minute, bit higher rate of striking compared to what we saw from the GB for just a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, it's New Zealand leading the field and almost a length ahead of Romania, who are at 40. But we've known the Romanian athletes to do 40 plus all the way from start to finish. So I'm not surprised to see them rating this high. But yeah, that Romanian crew has a lot of work to do to catch the very quick crew from New Zealand.
Vantaggio assoluto per la Nuova Zelanda in questa seconda batteria del 4 senza maschile. L'equipaggio in corsia numero 3 continua la sua corsa verso il traguardo per andare ad aggiudicarsi l'unica posizione utile per il passaggio alla finale A. In seconda posizione però la Romania, che cerca di farsi sotto incrementando il numero dei colpi. Battono 42 colpi gli atleti della Romania contro i 40 della Nuova Zelanda. Una batteria velocissima questa, la seconda del 4 senza maschile.
So with 200 meters to go, New Zealand, they're up to 40 to solidify that lead, Rob.
Yeah, they started strong. They're building and building, getting stronger. It's still New Zealand ahead of Romania, followed by Germany in 3rd.
La Romania che prova a rientrare, ma la Nuova Zelanda sta dimostrando di voler essere la regina del lago di Varese, e quindi Nuova Zelanda che incrementa ancora prima fin dal primo colpo. E se il buongiorno si vede dal mattino, questo è il giorno giusto. Nuova Zelanda, poi la Romania.
Romania really opening up their rate as well, but it's too little too late from them. New Zealand are keeping the rate going. They're pushing, they accelerate through the finish line. That's really impressive, New Zealand, taking it by a length and a quarter ahead of Romania in second. New Zealand qualify for that A final, and it is a third place, excuse me, over the other side of the water. If it gets very emotional. Third was Germany.
Un arrivo incredibile, such a wonderful finish here with Rob. We'll be back with us shortly. So New Zealand, Romania and Germany crossing the line.
We now move on to Heat 1 of the lightweight women's double sculls.
Ci spostiamo ora con la prima qualificazione del doppio Under 23 pesi leggeri femminile.
This is the lineup. Great Britain lane 1, Switzerland in 2, Uzbekistan in lane 3, in lane 4 the USA, lane 5 Brazil, lane 6 Egypt.
Gran Bretagna, Svizzera, Uzbekistan, Stati Uniti d'America, Brasile ed Egitto sono le nazioni a contendersi le piazze che contano, il primo in finale e gli altri ai recuperi.
So about 750 meters gone. Again, it's the first one home who gets through to that A final. I had a little frog in the throat just now, Colleen. A little tickle, getting a bit emotional up here.
I know, I heard you. We were chuckling here, Rob. If you're this emotional in the heats, we just can't wait to see what the finals and the victory ceremonies are like. The story of this race at the moment. So we've moved on to the lightweight category, the under 23 lightweight women's double. As you rightly say, it's 1 to advance to final A, and we're still quite early in the race, but I am hoping for some cowbells because Switzerland leading this race in style. Just behind them, Great Britain, though. So Great Britain certainly not to be left out. And in fact, as I say that, they're just closing the margin. So Niamh, top of the field, absolutely incredible at the moment.
They are top of the field as they're just coming towards us now at the 1,000 metres. They've already opened up a lot of clear water over the rest of the crews. Great battle here now as they are passing us. Great Britain, it looks like, have just taken the lead over Switzerland as they pass us. Avery Louis and Lauren Madison there representing Great Britain.
So fans in the grandstand, they'll need your support as they come through the third quarter. It is GB just barely over Switzerland. And then behind them, an absolutely incredible race with the rest of the field. It is quite a bit back to that field. But again, GB up at the top, then it's Switzerland. And next best, well, that would be Uzbekistan, followed by the USA, Brazil, and Egypt. This crew from the USA, it's Ruthie Lacey in the bow seat from Oklahoma City. It's Brooke Ruskiewicz in the stroke seat from Stanford University, which has a fantastic lightweight program. Brooke enjoys weightlifting, she says, and she's a retired ice hockey athlete. She said that after 8 years she was done after multiple concussions. So we're happy to see her here in the women's lightweight double. Moving then through the 750, approaching 500 to go. Tim, what can you say about the GB Swiss battle up at the top?
Currently, it's going all the way for the GB double of Louis and Madison on the far side of the lake, and with just one crew going straight through to the A final. It's worth going all out in this first heat of the lightweight women's double sculls. And I think Switzerland have realized that because they are stepping up 35 strokes a minute, trying to prevent GB stretching their advantage too far. It's half a length at this stage of the race, 6 or 7 meters separating GB and Switzerland as they come to the last quarter. But GB look good, nicely together there from the athlete from Stanford. That's Avery Lewis there, the bow seat representing Stanford University, and Reading University Boat Club there represented by Lauren Madison. And this lightweight women's double is actually coached by former lightweight rower Chris Bartley from GB. So plenty of lightweight experience there. Heading into the final 500 meters, Switzerland stepping it up even further. They've decreased the lead of GB, so it's going to be a sprint finish all the way down to the line, I think. But GB still leading.
Queste sono le batterie a cui sempre vorremmo assistere, un bellissimo punta a punta per i primi 1000 metri di percorso tra Svizzera e Gran Bretagna e ancora tuttora, quando ormai mancano gli ultimi 350 metri al traguardo, continua la corsa la Gran Bretagna che passa in vantaggio sulla Svizzera, sono meno di 10 metri di vantaggio della Gran Bretagna, una Svizzera veramente in grande spolvero con una bellissima azione in acqua, quindi queste due le equipaggi pronti per portarsi in accesso alla finale A.
Oh la la, I think the GB double just stepping up there and increasing their lead and stretching it almost to a full length, Rob, coming into the last 200 meters.
Ooh la la, indeed, Tim. And the Great Britain crew really looking strong. Avery Lewis and Laura Madison really determined to get this single qualification spot for that A final, but being challenged still by Switzerland.
Una Gran Bretagna davvero arrembante, una Gran Bretagna che non vuole lasciare spazio ed è stata lì davanti a dominare per la parte centrale del percorso, ma in chiusura la Svizzera è sempre capace di rinvenire. Solo il primo passa al turno, Gran Bretagna all'esterno, Gran Bretagna scoppiettante, conosce bene il suo valore e lo dimostra a suon di remi. Oramai in chiusura Gran Bretagna senza storia.
It was a two-boat race for this A final spot. It is now a one-boat race. Great Britain have opened up that lead and they've held on to it. It's Great Britain who take first place. Avery Lewis and Lauren Madison ahead of Switzerland's Margot Aurel and Marion Eniger in second place.
Sul traguardo quindi Gran Bretagna, Svizzera, Uzbekistan, a seguire Stati Uniti, Brasile ed Egitto. Passa al turno la Gran Bretagna agli altri recuperi.
And Egypt just coming home to complete that race. They deserve a big round of applause. They are home and relieved to be so. So, second heat of the lightweight women's double sculls underway. Zimbabwe, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain and Hungary and Colleen.
Yeah, Rob, they're at halfway point and charging. It is Poland up at the top of the field. Great experience in both the Polish and Italian shells, so perhaps not surprising to see them battling for that one qualifying position. Jessica Sobaczynska in the bow seat for Poland, Wiktoria Kalinowski in the stroke seat for Poland. Both of these fantastic experience, and again, at the under 23 level at the Euros last year, both on the podium, the bow seat, Sobaczynska in the women's 8 and stroke seat Kalinowska in the lightweight women's double. In the Italian shell, well, we'll have to see how Luca handles that and gets the crowd on their feet, because they're just shy, just out of contention at the moment to advance directly to final A. Niamh, can the Italians do it?
I think they might, looking at the boat speed. Italians look to be there or thereabouts. If they can maybe, they're actually rating a little bit lower. So let's see how it plays out. But sitting in third at the moment, that German crew, they are one of the youngest crews out there, just 18 and 19 years old. A.S. Gundes and Leah Schneider, they're representing Germany, both competing at the juniors last year.
So charging through the third quarter, approaching 500 meters, continues to be Poland in the Italian shell, bow seat Elena Sali, Greta Paravicinci in the stroke seat. Tim, what can you tell us about how this is developing?
Yeah, that it's going to be really close. I would always back an Italian crew in the sprint finish to the line, because that's one of the hallmarks of Italian rowing, is that ability to raise it to incredibly high speeds in the closing stages. But yeah, currently it's going all the way for Poland. It's a half a length advantage for Saboczynka and Kalinowska from Poland, and they look to me like they're extending their lead slightly, ever so slightly, but the Italians still within contact. So if stroke woman Greta Paravicini raises the rate, she is able to well, perhaps take that final spot into the A final, but it's going to be a big ask, because Poland's eyes will be watching them closely in the closing stages.
La Polonia continua la sua corsa verso il traguardo in questa seconda batteria del doppio Under 23 pesi leggeri femminile, ma l'Italia cerca il contatto, sono solo 7 i metri di distanza dalla Polonia. Ricordiamo un'Italia con Elena Sali e Greta Paravicini, la prima oro nel 4 pesi leggeri, la seconda argento nel 2021, quindi sicuramente un equipaggio preparatissimo, ma la Polonia continua la sua corsa verso il traguardo con l'Italia in seconda posizione in questa batteria.
So Poland with the highest boat speed with 200 meters to go. Rob, are the Italians started sprinting already, or are they still waiting?
I'm not sure they're waiting much longer. I think Italy may well pull this one off, but Poland looking slightly ahead at this late stage.
Una Polonia davvero incisiva, una Polonia che ha controllato molto bene e che non vuole far rientrare le azzurre. Ci credono le atlete Elena Sali e Greta Parravicini, Cremona, il lago di Como, un equipaggio che rappresenta la regione che ospita questo campionato del mondo, ed ecco la Polonia che comunque continua a martellare, quindi Polonia e Italia, le azzurre che rimangono in contatto, ma la Polonia ne ha di più nel serbatoio e va ad conquistare questa bella vittoria.
Coming down to the line, Poland hang on. It's Poland who beat the Italians by a length to take that A final spot. Italy come home in second. Maybe it's a little disappointing for them. I think many people would have expected them to have come through to take that. But it's Poland who take it ahead of Italy in second, Germany in third.
Sul traguardo quindi la conferma, una Polonia davvero scoppiettante, 7.04 e 22. Pensate che il mondiale lo scorso anno fu vinto con 7.14, quindi si sta veramente volando. Sul lago di Varese al secondo posto l'Italia, terza la Germania.
We now have the men's quadruple sculls with Italy, Ukraine, Netherlands, Spain, Germany and USA. And I think they've even got past you, Colleen, have they?
They've flown past us. The quads move so fast, so we'll hand it over to the 500 in just a moment. But it is Italy. Local fans will be just thrilled to see Italy in that qualifying position. And just close behind them, it's Alexander Finger, the stroke seat of the German quad, making sure that he holds that spot. Tim, can the USA hunt down the Germans?
Oh well, the USA have a lot of work to do with just 500 meters still left to race. It's Italy clearly ahead of the rest of the field, Germany close behind, and the Dutch in the middle of the field moving up. But the big crab there, or small crab from the bowman from the USA, which won't do their boat speed any good. But yeah, coming through the 500 meters to go, it's Italy leading, that very experienced crew from Germany with Tom Granitz there in the bow seat. He took a little look to his left, and they are firmly in second position. Italy still in the lead.
In questa prima qualificazione del 4 Under 23 maschile brillano i colori dell'Italia. All'esterno del percorso Nicolò Bizzozzero, Leonardo Tedoldi, Matteo Sartori, Andrea Pazzagli, allenati da coach Franco Cattaneo, che continuano la loro corsa verso il traguardo. Ma attenzione anche al rientro della Germania, sono queste due le imbarcazioni pronte a passare il turno verso la semifinale, e via via poi tutte le altre imbarcazioni, con un'Italia veramente in grande spolvero.
So Italy raising the rate, sprinting all the way down the line. Germany in hot pursuit, but the Netherlands in third. But they have too much work to do. So I think, Rob, it's going to be Italy who take a home win here, with Germany coming in second.
Yeah, it looks exactly that way, doesn't it, Tim? First two across the line to get through to that semi-final. Netherlands may just have a little bit too much to do now to make that.
Un'Italia straordinaria, un'Italia che festeggia con due atleti del lago di Varese. Attenzione in questo momento alla Germania che rinviene, ma gli azzurri con Bizzozzero, Tedoldi, Sartori e Pazzagli ci mettono la firma.
And Italy take first spot, 3/4 of a length ahead of Germany. So those two crews are through automatically to the semi-final. And Netherlands coming home in third, ahead of USA, Ukraine and Spain.
Un'Italia davvero eccezionale, un'Italia arrembante, un'Italia capace di dominare con Matteo Sartori delle Fiamme Gialle, Leonardo Tedoldi del CUS Torino, Andrea Pazzagli, Nicolò Bizzozzero della Canottieri Gavirate. Loro conoscono bene il lago, l'hanno dimostrato anche in questa prova, andando a conquistare la vittoria della prima qualificazione del 4 di coppia.
The second heat of the men's quad sculls is underway. Mexico in lane 1 alongside Chile in lane 2. Romania take up 3 with Great Britain in 4 and Argentina in lane 5. And I think we're going to see another cracking race here, Colleen.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, cracking indeed. It's GB out ahead, but the battle for second, 2 spots to advance to semifinal A, B is on between Argentina and Romania. This GB crew, well, 3 of the crewmates, Ellery in the 3-seat, Cartwright in 2, and Kleshnev in the bow seat, rode together in the junior men's quad, where they took silver back in 2018. So they're now up a category, an age category, at the under 23 level. Neve, though, the field behind them charging towards them.
Absolutely. We're seeing here Argentina have just pushed through and they are coming up into that leading pack. We have in the stroke seat Santiago Diandre and in the bow Emiliano Oscar Calderon, both 6'3", using that height there to get themselves into that leading pack.
Miles Devereux of Great Britain in the stroke seat, holding on to a cool 37 strokes per minute, the quickest moving boat on the course. That second qualifying position, well, it's looking good for Argentina, but Romania really keeping touch as they move through the 750. GB out in the lead, as mentioned at the 1,000. There was certainly still some overlap, so it's looking really good for them, but they'll need to hold on to this rhythm and this cadence. So, Tim, it's the first round for the men's quad. It's heat number 2, and to get those top 2 spots, it's really a race. So this should be just an incredible event for this full week.
Yeah, one of my favorite events, actually. I really like the men's quad. It's such a fast event. It's very clinical. It needs to be very precise, and all of these crews here looking fabulous on the water this morning. With to me a slight surprise, the Argentinian crew here racing in lane 1. They're in second position, following GB, who've led most of the way. It's almost a length back from GB, where we find the Argentinian quads, and the Romanians 3/4 of a length behind Argentina, and then they're followed by the crew from Chile and the crew from Mexico, almost clear water back to the leading crews. But GB looking calm and relaxed, but I'm impressed by the crew from Argentina, actually.
Un'imbarcazione di vantaggio da parte della Gran Bretagna in questa seconda batteria, ma anche una bellissima lotta tra la Romania e l'Argentina per la seconda posizione utile per il passaggio del turno. Più arretrate sono invece il Cile e il Messico, ma vediamo la Gran Bretagna con un'ottima azione in acqua, incrementa il numero dei colpi, rispondono Argentina e Romania, sembra spuntarla l'Argentina per la seconda posizione insieme a Gran Bretagna per il passaggio del turno.
So the Argentines have done everything they have to stay ahead of the Romanians, but Rob, we know the Romanians can race a sprint finish, so will they move through, or will it be a 1-2 for GB and Argentina?
That's the question. They're over 4 seconds adrift now of Great Britain in first place, and Britain looking really strong. And as you say, a very impressive performance by the Argentine boat.
Una grande voglia di rientrare per l'Argentina, ma di fatto un solo colore al comando, quello della Gran Bretagna, che come per l'Italia domina, continua a dominare e dimostra di essere su un altro pianeta.
Great Britain looking comfortable as they come home, stroked by Miles Devereux. They take it by a length ahead of Argentina. Those 2 boats qualify directly for the AB semi-final, and Romania coming home in third ahead of Chile and Mexico.
Sul traguardo 5:52,96 il crono della Gran Bretagna, che è andata a conquistare la vittoria davanti all'Argentina. Le 2 formazioni che accedono alla semifinale, tutti gli altri, quindi Romania, Cile e Messico, dovranno transitare dai recuperi.
So to the third and final heat of the men's quad sculls, Lithuania taking up lane 1 alongside Australia in 2. Alongside them, New Zealand in 3, with Poland in lane 4 and the Czech Republic in lane 5.
Ultima qualificazione del 4 di coppia maschile: Lituania, Australia, Nuova Zelanda, Polonia e Repubblica Ceca ad infiammare ancora una volta col 4 di coppia queste qualificazioni.
Something rather enticing about this lineup, I think, Colleen. Australia, New Zealand in neighbouring lanes. I'm intrigued to see that battle.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rivalry, isn't it, to say the least? And that battle, well, it's well underway with currently New Zealand leading Australia, New Zealand running 3rd, Australia running a really close 4th, and Lithuania running 5th. Who's at the top of the field? Well, it's the crew from the Czech Republic holding on to 1st, and New Zealand battling for that 2nd qualifying position with this crew from Poland, who we saw at the 2nd World Cup. So getting a warm-up for the under 23s, if you will, racing up a category in Poland. This crew from the Czech Republic, well, they won an impressive gold last year in the category. Daniel Nozick in the stroke seat. He's the only returner, but he is joined by 2 members of last year's 8. So the Czech Republic leads 38 strokes per minute, and it is your pick, Neve, for New Zealand and Poland.
At the moment, matching each other, stroke rate, boat speed. It is anyone's game at the moment. Czech Republic just hanging on to that lead, although as they are coming up to us now, it is looking like those black uni suits that you spoke about earlier, they are coming up now. It looks like they are overtaking the rest of the crews as they pass mark. But Czech Republic and Poland, very tight. It is anyone's game at the moment. Top 3 boats.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. New Zealand now has overhauled this crew from the Czech Republic and from Poland. It's going to be heartbreak for someone because it's 2 positions to advance to semifinal A, B, and we have 3 boats in really close contention while the Aussies and Lithuania battle it for 4th place overall. Again, 3 boats in contention. New Zealand stroked by Benjamin Mason in the stroke seat, keeping his crew at 38 strokes per minute. Jonta Wright in the 3 seat supporting him, Ben Olifers in the 2 seat, and Jack Reedy in the bow seat for New Zealand. Lane 3, Tim, they're charging towards you. Poland, Czech Republic, who will it be?
That's difficult. My eye was drawn particularly to the New Zealand double, who look to be building speed into the 2nd K of this race. They're really impressive how they're racing, not too fast out of the blocks, and then they accelerate all the way through the race. And New Zealand now half a length ahead of that quad from Poland, I think. But it's bow ball for bow ball with 500 meters to go. It's the defending champions from the Czech Republic, currently in 2nd position, I think. But Poland, just a couple of meters back, so there's very little in it. And saying that, I think the Czech Republic just went for a change of gear. They tried to get back that 1st position off the hands of the New Zealanders.
Uno spettacolo alla schieranna di Varese in questa batteria, con 3 equipaggi sulla stessa linea: Polonia, Nuova Zelanda e Repubblica Ceca per le 2 posizioni utili al passaggio del turno. Paga un po' lo scotto di una partenza col botto la Repubblica Ceca, detentrice del primato mondiale nel 2021 in questa batteria, con la Nuova Zelanda che allunga sempre di più. Per la 2ª posizione la Repubblica Ceca, in 3ª la Polonia, ma sono veramente vicinissimi. Un bellissimo punta a punta tra imbarcazioni.
3 crews at rate 40. We have New Zealand, Poland and the Czech Republic flying towards you, Rob. Who's going to take the win and who's going to take that all-important final position into the AB semi-final?
Yeah, it's New Zealand, Czech Republic at the moment, isn't it? But Poland still mounting a challenge in 3rd.
Attenzione, perché la Nuova Zelanda al centro non vuole mollare lo scettro, ma l'esperienza del campione del mondo in carica, il capovoga del 4 di coppia della Repubblica Ceca, Daniel Nosek, potrebbe andare a lanciare il gran colpaccio sulla Polonia. Quindi Nuova Zelanda, Repubblica Ceca in rimonta e la Polonia, ma solo 2 le posizioni valide per il passaggio del turno.
The battle for 2nd place is a thrilling one, but it's going to be New Zealand across the line in 1st place, and 2nd place is just been snatched by the Czech Republic. They've just taken it ahead of the Polish crew. What a terrific race for the Czech Republic. First place New Zealand, second place Czech Republic. They qualify directly for the semi-finals, with Poland coming home in third ahead of Lithuania and Australia.
Ogni tanto non serve avere la palla di cristallo, o forse sì, l'avevamo chiamata e probabilmente gli abbiamo portato fortuna. Repubblica Ceca in gran rimonta, è riuscita a rientrare, quindi Nuova Zelanda e Repubblica Ceca, ricordiamo campione del mondo in carica per il passaggio del turno, terza la Polonia, poi tutti gli altri a completare, quindi la promozione diretta in semifinale solo Nuova Zelanda e Repubblica Ceca.
Next, we have the first of 3 heats in the lightweight men's double sculls.
Abbiamo la prima delle 3 qualificazioni riservate al doppio under 23 pesi leggeri maschile.
And this lineup pretty much takes us around the world, with the Netherlands in lane 1, Belgium in lane 2, Philippines in 3, Ireland in 4, Greece lane 5, and it's a warm welcome to Singapore in lane 6.
Nuova Zelanda con Olanda, Belgio, Filippine, Irlanda, Grecia e Singapore. Facciamo ora il giro del mondo. Chissà cosa succederà.
How are the Singaporeans doing here, Colleen? Can you tell from your vantage point?
Well, Rob, they're coming towards us, so we can tell from our vantage point, and I share your enthusiasm. I'm so delighted to see Singapore here in the stroke seat. It's Galway Cho, and in the bow seat, Mayan Kenji Kumar. So, as you say, a warm welcome to Singapore in this under 23 lightweight men's double. Just as in the prior rounds that we've seen in previous events, it is 2 to advance to semi-final A, B. So as we look up at the top of the field, it's looking really good for the Netherlands and Greece. Niamh, so close.
It is very close there as they are coming towards us. The Belgians as well over in lane 2. Mil Blumert and Savron Rodenberg representing Belgium there, but really happy to see the Green Blades of Ireland there again in lane 4. Kieran Purdy and Hugh Moore representing Queen's University in Belfast, coached there by John Armstrong, pulling quite strong there as well, currently sitting in 4th place. But out ahead it is the Netherlands, followed then closely by Belgium.
Yeah, the Netherlands having a great race, aren't they? Posting the fastest time at the 500-meter mark and at the 1,000. Hida Leiklama in the stroke seat, so great experience in the bow seat, but their stroke seat making his international debut. So fantastic to see this result for them early on in the round. Van Velden, we've seen certainly at other events, including rowing up a category at the Europeans in the lightweight event last year, in the double back in the juniors in the quad in 2019. They're now moving well through the third quarter, past the 750 mark. And Tim, you'll be happy to see the Dutch ahead.
Yeah, certainly, Colleen. I'm very happy to see the combination of David van Velde and Hida Leiklama leading this first heat of the lightweight men's double sculls. They're ahead, but not by much. There are 3 crews here fighting for 2 slots into the AB semi-finals. That's the Netherlands who are leading at this stage, but I think Belgium is almost level. So that combination of Blommaert and Rodeberg trying to make a move, trying to get their bow ball ahead of the Dutch. And yeah, we're also looking at the crew from Greece, coached by Giovanni Postiglione, the legendary coach from the Greek national team, who's coached so many crews to success. But that crew from Greece currently in 3rd position, with the Belgians definitely moving through the Dutch as they come past my commentary position.
Si rincorrono Belgio e Olanda in questa prima batteria, con il Belgio veramente in grande spolvero che parte all'attacco e cerca di guadagnare margine di vantaggio, ma sono solamente 2 metri di distanza dall'Olanda, che cerca sicuramente di rientrare. Bene poi al centro del percorso anche la Grecia in corsia numero 5, in questo momento in 3ª posizione, che si fa sotto negli equipaggi di testa, con la Bielorussia che continua a condurre insieme all'Olanda per il passaggio del turno alla semifinale.
So the Dutch there reacting to the push from the Belgian double there, and they're almost level, Rob, as they come towards the finish line. But yeah, Belgium still in the lead, but it's just a canvas to the Dutch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do down these last remaining meters. Greece probably now too far behind to move into second. It looks like it's a real battle here between Belgium and the Netherlands.
Olanda arrembante, un'Olanda capace di salire ancora, sono a 40 colpi al minuto e non vogliono lasciare spazio al Belgio che accusa, e quindi l'Olanda capace di trasformare questo doppio in un vero proiettile. Scivola in seconda posizione il Belgio dopo aver dominato per gran parte del percorso, con un'Olanda quasi incredula. Continuano a guardare a destra e a sinistra i vogatori olandesi. Olanda lì davanti a conquistare.
Yeah, the Dutch crew have moved through past the Belgians. The Netherlands take it by half a length ahead of Belgium in second for the AB semi-final spot, with the remaining crews, Greece, Ireland, Philippines and Singapore, going again in the repechage.
Uno sprint all'italiana, devo dire. È davvero bellissimo questo arrivo per l'Olanda, che insieme al Belgio va ad accaparrarsi le 2 posizioni per l'accesso in semifinale.
On to the second heat of the lightweight men's doubles, with Japan in lane 1, Estonia in 2, with Brazil in 3, Spain in 4, Italy in 5, France lane 6.
Seconda qualificazione, doppio pesi leggeri maschile, allacciate le cinture. Giappone, Estonia, Brasile, Spagna, Italia e Francia in gara.
Little fist pump from my colleague here in the tower, Luca Brogini, as he noticed that Italy seemed to have powered into the lead, Colleen.
Yeah, they have powered into the lead. And Luca, you should be fist pumping, and I hope all of the Italian fans and the grandstands are as well, because they are racing and leading this race in style. It's open water, Italy, then back to France. France able, looking to solidify that second qualifying position. I think Spain keeping in touch, but France has definitely taken some kind of a power move to push the rest of the field back. So it is indeed Italy leading France.
And just as they passed us there at the 1,000 meter mark, Japan and Estonia there at the final of the pack just going through there. We see in Estonia representing Mihail Netskajev and Arjam Holosto. Both doubles last year, one in the juniors, one in the under 23s. So good to see them combining now this year for the under 23s. But out ahead, Italy, no doubt about it, followed in by France. And then it's quite close between Spain and Brazil. Very little between those two crews now at the moment.
So I'm sure you'll hear more about this Italian crew as they come towards the grandstand. They're up at 38 strokes a minute in the bow, Borgonovo, and in the stroke seat, Astornese. Borgonovo in the lightweight men's quad last year at Lucerne, taking the gold there, and we've seen them earlier this season as well. They're charging through the 750, well past it, Tim. They're coming towards you. Looking good for France, I think, to capture that second spot.
Yeah, I think so, Colleen. You're perfectly right. France looking, well, they were looking relaxed, actually, I think, at this stage. Striking 34 strokes a minute. It's Verger and Sauvette from France following the Italian double by, well, it's a length of clear water back from the Italians, where the French double is positioned at this stage. But they're comfortably ahead of the rest of the field, with Brazil currently in third and having a very nice little battle there with the double from Spain. But the home favourites in the lead and looking very good at this stage of the race.
Si scaldano i cuori degli italiani nel vedere in corsia numero 5 l'accoppiata Giovanni Borgonovo e Giulio Acernese prendere le redini della prima posizione in questa batteria, con la Francia in seconda posizione, ma l'Italia allunga sempre di più. È ampio il margine di vantaggio dell'accoppiata italiana Borgonovo-Acernese. Ricordiamo nel 2021 bronzo nel 4, ora cambiano specialità e si ripresentano in acqua veramente in grande spolvero in questo doppio pesi leggeri maschile, con l'Italia in prima posizione, segue la Francia.
So Italy leading this race, Rob. How is your co-commentator doing?
He's remarkably calm. I don't think it's going to last long, though, because as we come down, Italy holding on to that lead ahead of France in second, Brazil back in third.
Un vantaggio davvero importante per l'Italia. Giovanni Borgonovo da Cernobbio, Giulio Acernese dalla Canottieri Roma dimostrano di poter controllare. D'altronde me l'avevano detto ieri al Parco Barche, stanno confermando il loro valore assoluto, non volendo spingere troppo sull'acceleratore, dobbiamo dire. Quindi una bella coppia, una coppia che scoppia, una coppia che vola e via sul traguardo. Italia, poi la Francia per le prime due posizioni.
Couldn't have put it better myself as Italy head across the line. They take it by a length and a half ahead of France. Italy, France through to the semi-finals and then coming home in third place in Brazil. A great race from them. So the remaining crews, Brazil, Spain, Japan, Estonia, through to the repechage.
Sul traguardo quindi questo sorriso ovviamente contagioso, la vittoria di Borgonovo e Acernese che eguagliano anche il quadruplo pesante, seconda vittoria dell'Italia in questa seconda giornata di competizione, al secondo posto la Francia, terzo il Brasile, passano il turno Italia e Francia.
The third and final heat of the lightweight men's double sculls sees the USA go in lane 1, with New Zealand in lane 2, Hungary in lane 3, Germany in 4, and Turkey in lane 5.
Terza ed ultima qualificazione del doppio leggero maschile, Stati Uniti, Nuova Zelanda, Ungheria, Germania, Turchia.
And that crew from Turkey in lane 5 taking an early lead ahead of New Zealand. Is that the way you see it as they approach you at the halfway mark, Colleen?
Yeah, you've got it spot on. It is Turkey leading at the moment as they just prepare to cross into the halfway point. Turkey at a cool 35 strokes per minute, lane 5, so closest to where Neve and I are perched at the 1,000-meter mark. And they're looking really smooth, aren't they?
They are indeed. But over on the other side, we have New Zealand, USA and Hungary there. Great battle between the three of those. Only one of those will go through to the semi-final along with the top spot. So great battle there at the moment. New Zealand there, we have Logan Docherty and Ruben Cook representing them. And USA over on the far side from us. Of course, we have twins Clay and Sean Rybus, just 18 years old, representing in the juniors double last year and again making that step up this year.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see them race last year at the juniors in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, and they're back together. They finished 14th overall. We saw them, that was in their junior years, and then they're here at the under-23 level, now stepping up a category into the double from Newport Beach, California. Up at the top, though, continues to be Turkey holding on to that first qualifying position, and then it is getting quite tight behind them for that second qualifying position between Hungary and New Zealand. At this point, the USA and Germany probably off the pace for a qualifying spot. So, Tim, you'll have to keep an eye on it. New Zealand's been having a great morning, haven't they?
Yeah, it's they've come here to Italy and they really have taken this regatta on and taking everything out of them in this first heat, because it's really impressive to see them racing, but they have a lot of work to do, but they're still in contention. But I'm really surprised is perhaps the wrong word, but the double from Turkey are really strong and long as they come past my commentary position at 1500, looking very relaxed, 33 strokes a minute, and clear water ahead of that crew from Hungary, who have now taken second position out of the hands of that crew from the USA and New Zealand, with the German double, I think, conserving some energy. I think Nikita Moore there in the stroke seat saw that there was too much work to do in the final 500 to progress straight through the AB semi-finals, so they've really dropped the rate down, but Turkey in the lead, leading comfortably.
La Turchia conduce controllando, l'equipaggio in corsia numero 5 a terra del percorso, continua la sua corsa verso il passaggio diretto alla semifinale, ma attenzione perché per la seconda posizione c'è l'equipaggio dell'Ungheria con gli Stati Uniti, un equipaggio giovanissimo, entrambi gli atleti del 2003 che sicuramente non vogliono lasciare nulla di intentato e cercano di farsi sotto, ma rispondono Turchia e Ungheria per il passaggio alla semifinale.
So with two crews straight through the AB semi-final, Rob, it looks to me like Turkey have that first place sewn up and Hungary look very good for second.
They've taken it by the scruff of the neck, haven't they, from the outset, the Turkish crew. Turkey first, Hungary second, as you correctly say, Tim. A little bit further back, USA, followed by New Zealand and Germany.
Una delle curiosità sicuramente di questa gara è vedere la Turchia viaggiare a 30 colpi al minuto, quasi 10 in meno rispetto agli azzurri nella regata precedente. Una Turchia che sta letteralmente controllando il suo percorso fin dalla prima palata, quindi segnatevi questi nomi: Turchia lì davanti a dominare, per la seconda posizione l'Ungheria, poi gli Stati Uniti senza dubbio sul traguardo.
Yes, Turkey coming home to take first place ahead of Hungary in second, both of those through to the AB semi-final. Great rowing from Enis Gok and Sefik Kakmak in that Turkish boat, and Hungary in second, as I say. So the following crews, USA, New Zealand, Germany, will go again in the repechage. Germany coming home to take up that final slot.
Turchia, Ungheria e Stati Uniti d'America a seguire. Nuova Zelanda e Germania passano il turno solo Turchia ed Ungheria, con una gara abbastanza controllata.
We now have a preliminary race in the under-23 women's coxed 4.
Abbiamo ora una gara preliminare. Spesso in Italia si parla di gara delle acque, la gara preliminare del 4 con femminile.
Just six entries in this category, so it's basically a race for lanes for the final. This is the lineup with Romania in lane 1, New Zealand in 2, Italy lane 3, USA in 4, Germany in 5, Australia in lane 6.
Romania, Nuova Zelanda, Italia, Stati Uniti, Germania ed Australia. Sono queste le 6 nazioni partecipanti, non ci sono selezioni, vediamo come andrà.
And as they head down to you at 1,000 meters, Colleen, very interested to see how the Romanian crew are doing, because they have quite a pedigree, don't they?
Yeah, they do have quite a pedigree, and the Romanian crew not quite at the top of the field. As you rightly say, this is a preliminary race, so it's a chance for these athletes to get out, test race strategy, race for lanes, and sort of line up against one another and have an opportunity to race prior to the next round. So Romania, well, they're not quite ahead. That goes to Australia, who is currently leading 35 strokes per minute. They're the quickest moving boat on the course. They'll be first to cross through halfway. It's Nicholas Dunlap in the coxswain seat, Emmy Frederico stroking Emma Wilson in the 3 seat, Isabella Scammel in the bow seat, and Samantha Morgan van Rijbergen in the 2 seat. So that combination from Australia, Neve, sending a message to the field, right?
It is, and it's so good to hear the coxes shouting here at the 1,000 meter mark. It's adding a lot of atmosphere here to us in our commentary hut. Italy now and USA battling out for those second and third spots. Of course, they're all going through to the next round, but again, as Colleen said, just looking for lanes and a bit of experience on the water here, and a lot of experience in that Italian boat. Cox there, or the stroke seat, Alice Codato, second in the women's 4 last year and first at the Europeans. How do you think the USA crew are going to do this week?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited about this Cox 4. Caroline Rickson in the coxswain seat with the longest international experience, making her debut back in 2018, where she took bronze in this very event. So we'll be leaning on certainly her expertise, great expertise across the full boat, Stanford, UVA, Brown, a couple of other fantastic schools, Cal, Buffalo. So we'll see how that comes together for the USA. But Tim, as they move towards you, well, it's looking the best for the Aussies, isn't it?
Yeah, the Australians are looking comfortable, actually, and at 34 strokes a minute, not rating too high at this stage, but looking to my left, I can see the crew from Italy making a big push there in the third 500, which sees them almost a half a length back to the Australians. So Australia still in control of this race, comfortable ahead. Little look there from Nicholas Dunlap to his right to see where the Italians are going. But Italy in second position, followed by that crew from the USA, then followed by Germany. And on the far side of the lake, it's a fantastic battle going stroke for stroke between Romania and New Zealand.
Ultimi 400 metri del percorso, anche in questa gara delle acque del 4 con Under 23 femminile che vede condurre i colori dell'Australia seguita dall'Italia, poi gli Stati Uniti. Ottima l'azione dell'equipaggio azzurro in corsia numero 3 che mantiene la seconda posizione con la speranza che possa nella finalissima dire la sua. Australia quindi che continua a condurre, seguita dall'Italia e poi gli Stati Uniti per determinare l'ordine di partenza nelle corsie della finalissima in questa specialità.
So 200 meters left to row, Rob. The Australians having secured firmly their horizontal dominance over the rest of the field. So I'm wondering, are they going to elevate their rate up to a sprint finish?
I see what you did there, Tim. Yeah, they're looking good, aren't they? And Romania, I think, just deciding to take it easy. All these crews will, of course, progress to the final. And it's just a glorious sight from the tower as these 6 crews power down towards the finish.
Condizioni eccezionali ed un'Australia che qui vicino alle tribune dimostra di avere il giusto giro, una grande capacità per i 4 canguri che si sono allenati qui sulle acque del lago di Varese a Gavirate al loro centro di preparazione olimpica e vanno a controllare insieme alle azzurre questo bellissimo percorso. Quindi Australia, Italia, poi Stati Uniti.
It's Australia who come down to take the first place by half a length ahead of Italy, then clear water back to the USA in 3rd place. Germany coming home in 4th, Romania out in lane 1 in 5th, and then bringing up the rear in lane 2 is New Zealand.
Uno degli spettacoli più belli si vede sempre anche dopo il traguardo, quando le formazioni si stringono la mano, si salutano e soprattutto condividono le emozioni costruite durante tutto il percorso. Ecco quindi l'ufficialità con l'Australia, oh là là, il record del mondo, 6:52:19.
Yes, a World Championship best time there from the Australian crew of 6:52.19 seconds. So that's in a preliminary race. That's pretty impressive from the Australian crew. So we're now back to the heats, and it's the men's coxed 4 with Italy, Germany, Australia, and France. And how are these crews looking, Colleen?
Yeah, well, they're looking really good, Rob. And I think the women's coxed 4 has sent some energy up the course to the men's Australian coxed 4 because they're looking really strong and putting themselves in great contention to capture that single qualifying position.
Yeah, 7 entries in total in the men's coxed 4. We are seeing 4 now out on the course. Definitely, I think the Australian women sent that energy up all right because the men are just powering it out ahead at the moment. Currently sitting in 2nd place, then we have Germany, followed by Italy, and then France. 3 of the French rowers rowed in the 8th last year, finishing in 10th place. Nicolas Armenjean, Matthias Nothelet, and Tom Bardot.
So, Tim, they're charging towards you, approaching the final 500 meters. Germany moving a similar speed to Australia. Do you think they can close the gap? Is there time?
Well, yeah, there's plenty of time, Colleen. I think the Germans, they're sandwiched in between the Italians and the Australians. They have the highest boat speed, or one of the highest boat speed, but saying that, I'm instantly corrected by the crew from Australia who've raised their rate and increased their boat speed with 500 meters to go. It's going to be a fantastic final 500. Australia leading Germany by about half a length with 500 meters to go, but the Aussies look long and strong, really in control, and there's so much power coming off this Australian crew. It's very impressive to see, and the crew from Germany, slightly higher rating, but they're still well in contention for that one spot into the A final. I think Italy dropping back slightly.
È importante porre la propria prua davanti a tutti in questa batteria per andare ad aggiudicarsi l'unica posizione utile al passaggio alla finale A in questa regata, con l'Australia veramente in grande spolvero in corsia numero 3 che conduce la corsa, seguita dalla Germania veramente molto vicina. Viaggiano quasi a 40 colpi entrambe le imbarcazioni, quindi dovranno partire all'attacco per dare il tutto e per tutto ad aggiudicarsi la posizione in finale A, con l'Italia in terza posizione ben delineata sulla Francia.
So Germany and Australia sprinting towards the line with the Australians holding off the German charge there, Rob.
Yes, first and second really matters here, doesn't it? Because it's only the first across the line who'll progress to that A final. Australia just with it at the moment.
La Germania che ci crede, una Germania che cambia ritmo ma che inciampa su una boa, con l'Australia che in questo momento incresce ancora e va via via a costruire la progressione, ma la Germania sembra averne di più nelle gambe. Guardate che gara, Germania-Australia.
Yeah, Germany are just coming through. They've timed this to perfection. Australia not out of it yet, though. It's a really tight one. It's Germany who take it by a canvas through to the A final, just nipping it there ahead of Australia, who look irritated with themselves there for letting that one slip. But they'll go again in the repechage along with Italy and France.
27 centesimi di secondo tra queste due formazioni. Una gara velocissima e la Germania capace di rientrare davvero per una manciata di centesimi, quindi un'occasione di sorpasso davvero ghiotta, ma ovviamente ci sarà anche una rivincita, quindi Germania, Australia, poi l'Italia.
Just 3 boats contesting the second heat of the men's Cox 4. Great Britain are in lane 1, USA in lane 2, New Zealand lane 3.
Seconda qualificazione del 4 con maschile, solo 3 le imbarcazioni in gara. Gran Bretagna, Stati Uniti, Nuova Zelanda.
A little USA GB battle going on here, Colleen?
There's a USA GB battle happening at the moment, Rob, and I'm delighted to say that the US is making the best of it, up at 37 strokes per minute, stroked by Eric Spinka of the USA, coxed by William Dempsey, making his international debut, who coxed at Northeastern University. We have 3 Princeton athletes on board this USA crew in the 3-seat, the 2-seat in the bow. That's Phelps, Dukes, and Vackel of the USA. They're charging towards the 1,000-meter mark, but GB needs certainly keeping in touch.
They are indeed. Stroke man there of GB, Bruce Eternal. He was 3rd in the men's Cox 4 last year in the Euros. So a little bit of experience there in the stroke seat. Same with the stroke man in the USA, representing in the under-23s last year. But New Zealand still hanging in there as well. Stroke there by Zachary Rumble. They are sitting in 3rd at the moment. Not too far off the other 2 boats though.
Moving then well into the third quarter of the race, it continues to be the USA holding on. Similar boat speed to GB, both at 37 strokes per minute. A critical part of the race, this third 500, to set themselves up for the final 500. And of course, as we know, it's just one crew to advance to final A. So moving through 750, less than 750 to go. Tim, they're charging towards you, and it looks like GB is on the move.
Yeah, you're perfectly right, Colleen. Definitely a big move there from GB in that all-important third 500 meters, where we see so many decisive moves being made, and the crew from the USA still in the lead. It's almost a canvas ahead of GB, but GB is really building speed into this race. Both crews at 37 strokes a minute, but Bruce Turnell there, I think he has a bit more length to his rowing, a bit more smoothness at the back turn, but the power from that crew from the USA is, well, clearly helping them along very nicely. But I think it's, well, to me, the Americans still in the lead, half a canvas ahead of GB, with the crew from New Zealand, clear water back. But yeah, a fantastic final 500 with the Americans leading the charge.
Una batteria di qualificazione con solo 3 equipaggi, ma un bellissimo punta a punta tra 2 imbarcazioni. Sono infatti gli Stati Uniti d'America e la Gran Bretagna a condurre la corsa di questa batteria numero 2. Un bellissimo punta a punta, una bellissima azione da parte di entrambe gli equipaggi. Attenzione, perché uno dei due dovrà cedere il passo all'altro. Solamente una è la posizione utile per il passaggio alla finale A, con invece la Nuova Zelanda delineata in terza posizione. Stati Uniti o Gran Bretagna o Stati Uniti sul traguardo per il passaggio alla finale A.
So America, the USA have led for most of the way, but GB is making a move, Rob, almost level with the crew from the USA.
Oh, jolly good. Can't wait to see how this one ends up. It's a tight race between these two. New Zealand have always been in third. They are probably going to stay there. So let's see who's going to close it out in these final stages.
Guardate ancora una volta gli Stati Uniti d'America che cercano di agganciare gli atleti di Sua Maestà, guardate la Gran Bretagna che accorcia la palata, gli Stati Uniti che si girano come quattro moschettieri e si frulla verso il traguardo con la Gran Bretagna che ne ha di più nel serbatoio e lo dimostra con un'iniezione di energia verso il traguardo.
Oh, look at the USA really upping the rate here at the finish line, but it's Great Britain who take it. That's a superb finish from the British crew. They take it by half a canvas, stroked home by William Denegri, and a really great performance. They'll be thrilled with that. USA in second, New Zealand coming home in third. USA, New Zealand go again, of course, in the repechage. Next, we have two heats in the lightweight women's pair.
Ed ora abbiamo le due qualificazioni del due senza pesi leggeri femminile.
5 crews contesting the first heat with Australia in lane 1, Kazakhstan in lane 2, the reigning world champions from Italy in 3, alongside Germany in 4 and Hungary in lane 5.
Australia, Kazakistan, Italia, Germania ed Ungheria con l'Italia che per questa edizione ha confermato le campionesse del mondo in carica.
So how is that Italian crew looking in that central lane there, Colleen?
Yeah, Rob, they're looking really good. The 2021 gold medalists from Italy are back to defend their title, and they're doing it in style. So Maria Zerboni and Samantha Primel won gold by over 6 seconds in this boat class at last year's World Rowing Under-23 Championships. But of course, the question this year is, can they do it again? And we know we have fantastic representation from Italy in the grandstand. No doubt, Neve, that will help them out.
It will, of course. I'm sure they'll be hearing the cheers now as they head down towards that. Big lead now. Italy have over second place Germany at the moment, followed in by Australia sitting in third place. Then we have Hungary and Kazakhstan. Hungary, their youngest crew out there on the water in this race. We have Sarah Bocca there in the stroke seat, just 18, and Anna Gedeon in the bow, just 19. But as they're coming up towards us here at the 1,000 metres, no doubt about it, Italy just powering their way past us.
Italy in the bow seat, Zerboni, we see her just following their stroke seat just in front of her teammate Samantha Primel. And we'll have to see if Luca gets so excited this time that he unplugs the iPad as he did yesterday. We'll find out in just about 1,000 meters, won't we, or less than that. But yeah, Italy looking really good. As Neve just told us, Germany running second. Those are the two crews holding on to those final qualifying positions. And Hungary, well, in Australia, we'll see if they find another gear or if at this stage in the race, they sort of recognize that the better strategy is to kind of lengthen out and take this as it is. Fantastic to see representation from Kazakhstan as well out of lane 2. So have to give them a good cheer as they come by. But Neve, up at the top, is Italy untouchable or will Germany be able to threaten them?
I'm looking at the boat speeds. It is Italy at the moment who are hanging on in there, but Germany are matching them. Slightly slower stroke rate, but they are matching them for boat speed. Australia doing really well in the last 2 categories, and we see them there currently sitting in third place. Kate Oliver in the stroke seat, Sophie Robinson in the bow.
So just coming through that 750 mark, it is Kazakhstan at the back of the field with, as we've just told you, Italy up at the front. The crew from Kazakhstan in the stroke seat, Volka Dadovova, and in the bow seat, Noskova. Tim, they're coming towards you to advance. Italy all the way.
Yeah, Italy all the way, Colleen. It's the Azzurri who are leading this, the defending world champions who are, well, comfortable in the lead. They look really long in the water, and I think they're helped along very nicely by the slight tailwind conditions we have on the Lago di Varese today. The Italians, well, tapping it along 35 strokes a minute. easily the quickest crew of this field. If you look at them, you just know that they have several gears to go to if they need to. But there's no need, because Germany in second place, that last spot straight to the A final. Germany 2 lengths of clear water back to the Italians. So that's a race done and dusted, I think. And the Australians on the far side overrating. So that's Sophie Robinson and Kate Oliver on the far side. They are 37 strokes a minute, really hammering along. But they will have to contend the repechage with Italy and Germany looking set to go straight to the A final.
L'Italia è pronta a difendere il titolo che nel 2021 le stesse atlete hanno vinto di oltre 6 secondi. A Racice nell'anno 2021 hanno brillato i colori della bandiera italiana e Maria Zerboni e Samantha Premerl sono pronte ad aggiudicarsi ancora una volta un'ottima posizione in questi mondiali di Varese 2022. Sicuramente una grande emozione gareggiare nelle acque di casa. Ricordiamo la seconda posizione appannaggio della Germania, i primi 2 in finale A, gli altri recuperi l'Italia. C'è ancora una volta.
So the question is not who are going through to the A final directly and who will have to contend the repechage, Rob, but the big question is Luca able to contain his enthusiasm for this race?
He's always enthusiastic about every race, even when Italy aren't in it. So that's not a question we have to really be too concerned about. But I think Italy are looking very strong here. They've opened up quite a lead ahead of Germany in second.
Un vantaggio che ti ricordi, un vantaggio che ti permette di gustare ogni singolo centimetro del percorso, perché palata su palata puoi controllare le avversarie e allo stesso tempo gustarti di essere l'equipaggio più forte e favorito. E questa è la storia dell'Italia, che lì in acqua numero 3 continua a volare con Zerboni e Premerl, una coppia eccezionale, ancora una volta un campionato del mondo.
Zerboni and Premerl of Italy come through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, maybe 6 lengths ahead of Germany in second. Germany will be fine with that. They're both through to the A final directly. So the remaining crews, Australia, Hungary, Kazakhstan, will have to try again when they go in the repechage. And still quite some distance to go for these last 2 crews.
Sul traguardo la conferma, grazie al nostro monitor, 7:28:31 il tempo registrato dalle azzurre davanti alla Germania. I primi 2 in finale A, quindi Italia e Germania, che non gareggeranno più fino alla finale. Gli altri dovranno transitare dei recuperi.
Heat 2 of the women's pair is underway with Turkey, USA, Uruguay, and the twins from Peru. And they're about 1,000 meters gone now. How are the Peruvian twins doing?
Oh, they look fantastic, Rob. They're up at the top of the field. Turkey certainly in hot pursuit behind them, followed by the USA and Uruguay. But the twins from Peru, Alicia and Valeria Palacios, doing it in style. They made the final last year and finished 5th. They were 13th in the junior women's quad at the 2018 Junior World Championships. So certainly loads of experience and really demonstrating that as they fly down the course through the third 500.
As we're looking out here now, great battle for second and third spots at the moment. Turkey and USA. Turkey currently sitting in second place, USA only a couple of meters behind them. Youngest competitor here in this category in the Turkey boat strokes person, Ida Erkin, just 17 yesterday. So a big happy birthday to her. She is joined by Ebru Akanal in the bow seat. But great battle here. What are your odds for the USA team, Colleen?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye, won't we? So the USA crew currently running in third, just out of contention for one of those 2 qualifying positions. But certainly still some time left as they move through the final 750 meters. The USA 35 strokes per minute. Turkey rowing a little bit higher, 37 strokes per minute. So the US may well have somewhere to go. Tim, they're coming towards you, looking really good for the sisters from Peru.
Yeah, the twins look fabulous here on the water, but well, they have quite some
Chita?
distance to go to, because it is on the other side of the lake. We have Turkey also making a move and trying to get their hands on one of those two qualifying positions in the A final. But yeah, that's that USA combination of Sack and Andrews sandwiched in between the two front runners, who are posing a big threat for that straight route into the A final. But it's almost a length of a full length that they have to make up to get into either first or second.
Una corsa a 3 imbarcazioni, questa seconda batteria del due senza femminile. Vediamo in corsia numero 4 il Perù con le gemelle Alessia Palacios e Valeria Palacios. Lo scorso anno quinte ai campionati mondiali di Racice, pronte a andare sul campo di regata di Varese a riconquistare il podio, con gli Stati Uniti e la Turchia per la seconda posizione. Ricordiamo i primi due in finale A, gli altri ai recuperi. In questo momento sono il Perù in prima posizione, seguita dalla Turchia, poi gli Stati Uniti e infine l'Uruguay.
So it's basically level between the Turkish pair in racing in lane number 1 of Akinal and Erkan, who are in second position, but leading this field are the two twins from Peru, Alicia and Valerina Palacios, who are leading, but only by half a canvas, Rob, as they come towards you with 250 meters to go.
Yeah, it'll be good to see if they can hold on to that lead. They've had it from the very outset, these 22-year-olds from Peru, Palacios sisters. Let's see how they do. Can they hold Turkey off down to the line?
Sarà una di quelle gare che alla fine si scrive sul traguardo, perché da un lato il Perù, dall'altro la Turchia comunque continuano a rimanere in corsa. La Turchia non vuole lasciare spazio davvero a nessuno, dimostrando di avere una nuova combinazione interessante da schierare a questo campionato del mondo nella valanga rosa. E allora si apre la battaglia e ci si gioca il tutto e per tutto. Perù, Turchia e Stati Uniti d'America, 3 contendenti per le prime 2 posizioni, con gli Stati Uniti davvero potenti.
There's a great battle coming here from the USA. They are really pushing through. It's going to be very close at the line. I think the twins from Peru have held on, and I think USA have just overtaken Turkey. It's Peru and Turkey who have qualified for the A final alongside Italy and Germany from the first heat. We'll just get a weight confirmation, but that's, I think, Peru, USA.
Exactly right, Rob. Wonderful sprint, I have to say. Uno sprint davvero eccezionale. Gli Stati Uniti sono riusciti a rientrare e quindi passaggio del turno per Perù e Stati Uniti d'America.
We now have the heats for the lightweight men's pair with the USA, Austria, Hungary, Mexico and Italy in this first heat. They're already at 1,000 meters.
They're already at 1,000 meters, Rob. That's absolutely right. And the Italian fans will be thrilled to see the local favorite there. It's Bardelli Pinzoni in the stroke seat. Stefano Pinzoni setting the rhythm for this Italian crew closest to the grandstand out of lane 5, 39 strokes per minute. And then running second, holding on to that second qualifying position, at least at the moment, it's Hungary, Sinye in the stroke seat, Boros in the bow seat, and then back to the USA running third. Colin Hay in the bow seat, Nathaniel Sass in the stroke seat. Hay and Sass just off the podium in the men's pair last year, this same event at the under-23s in 2021. So certainly they'll be looking to get onto the podium this year. And I'm delighted for the first time to introduce you to Andrea just quickly before we throw it to Tim. Andrea, good afternoon to you.
So excited to be here and watching the exciting racing going by from the 1,000-meter tower.
Tim, they're charging towards the final 500. How's it looking for this qualification?
Yeah, with just 2 spots straight to the A final, I think we have to look at the outside lanes there. Italy with Bardelli and Pisone are in the lead. They've led for most of this heat of the lightweight men's pair. And on the far side, I think we have to look to the American lightweight men's pair of Hay and Sass, who are in second position, 70 meters back. And in the center lane, a challenge will be laid down there by the crew from Hungary with Boros Balit and Trince Tamas. who are in third, but that's clear water back to the American pair. So I think the Italians have this in the bag, a straight spot into the A final, and something really strange has to happen for the Americans to lose that final spot straight to the A final.
L'Italia ancora una volta pronta a scrivere un pezzo di storia. L'accoppiata Francesco Bardelli e Stefano Pinsone conducono le file di questa batteria del due senza pesi leggeri under 23 maschile. In seconda posizione gli Stati Uniti, con l'Ungheria che cerca l'aggancio, però Italia e Stati Uniti continuano la loro corsa verso il traguardo. Ottima l'azione del giovane equipaggio italiano al primo anno nella categoria under 23.
So the outside lanes, they're going for those 1 and 2 spots straight to the A final. Italy leading the field, followed by the USA, and it is Hungary in third position, with Mexico and Austria completing the field with the two debutant crews of this heat. They have to contend a repechage, but Italy looks set for that A final together with the US of A.
It's a comfortable race, isn't it, for those two in the outside lanes? And Italy, nearest to us here in the finish tower, look like they're probably going to take first spot ahead of the USA.
Una gara scritta in modo magistrale da questi due talenti della Reale Canottieri Cerea di Torino. Si guardano in questo momento a destra e a sinistra per potersi gustare queste ultime palate che di fatto danno lo scettro a Bardelli e Pinsone.
It's Italy across the line in first place, a length and a quarter ahead of USA in second to progress directly to the A final. And then coming home in third place in lane 3, it's Hungary with Mexico and Austria. Those three crews will have another opportunity to compete for that A final by contesting the repechage.
Una gara senza storia, una gara dominata per tutto il percorso. Bentornati ragazzi, grandi gli azzurri, Bardelli Pinsone davanti agli Stati Uniti d'America e l'Ungheria.
The second heat of the lightweight men's pair sees Chile, Moldova, Egypt and Brazil.
Ed ora ci spostiamo, siamo pronti per seguire la grande sfida, la seconda qualificazione sempre del due senza maschile, Cile, Moldavia, Egitto e Brasile.
And we have a world champion in that Chilean boat in lane 1. And Colleen, you were saying you've been joined there by Andrea Prosky.
I have been joined by Andrea Prosky. So a warm welcome to you, Andrea. Andrea, gold medal Olympian in the Canadian Women's 8 last year. So pleasure to have you joining us.
The house, but of course it's exciting to see this race from the second best seat in the house. But of course the first best seat is those athletes coming through the line here at the 1,000 meter.
Yeah, that's right. They're just approaching halfway, and it's Chile all the way. Chile led at the 500-meter mark with the quickest time there, quickest time to the 1,000. And we know that there's 2 qualifying positions. So running second, it is Moldova holding on to that second qualifying position. And in fairly close contention, I'd say Brazil and Egypt keeping themselves in touch. So an exciting race coming down mid-third quarter. Looking up then at the top of the field continues to be this combination from Chile. In the stroke seat, Rodrigo Paz. In the bow seat, Manuel Fernandez Antri holding on to that first top spot. And Rob, as you mentioned, some great pedigree in this shell. We know that in particular in the bow, Fernandez Antri, we saw him at the Under-23 Championships last year where he took gold in this event. And in fact, I think that was his international debut. So he's coming off of a really big win. He's picked up a pair partner. And Tim, as they come towards you at the 500, it looks like they're having a bit of fun out there at the top of the field.
Yeah, they're certainly enjoying this heat of the lightweight men's pair with that Chilean pair there. Yeah, just tapping it along comfortably, 34 strokes a minute, which isn't that high for a lightweight pair. But yeah, it's Fernandez Antri, the reigning world champion in this event, with Rodriguez Paz in the stroke seat. and they've really gelled together very nicely because they have a length of clear water over the crew from Moldova right beside them with the Moldovan crew there, the strokeman Dimitri Zinchenko. He actually won a bronze medal at last year's Europeans, and that, if my memory serves, was also here on Lago di Varese. So he has great experience racing here on the lake, and those two crews leading the field and look secure for a spot in the A final. But I think Egypt and Brazil are having a fantastic race too for third and fourth.
Sono ancora una volta i colori del Cile a farla da padrone alla schiranna di Varese in questa specialità del due senza maschile, con a bordo Manuel Fernandez Antri, campione del mondo in carica, che per l'occasione viene accoppiato a un giovanissimo atleta, Rodrigo Paz, nato il 24 gennaio del 2004, veramente in grande spolvero questa accoppiata del Cile. Per la seconda posizione la Moldavia, sempre utile al passaggio del turno alla finale A in questa specialità.
So as they move into the red buoy area with just 250 meters left to row, Chile looks very comfortable ahead together with Moldova for those two spots straight to the A final, Rob.
Certainly looks like that's the way it's going, doesn't it, Tim? And Chile, of course, with Fernandez Antri there, a former world champion or reigning world champion, so probably likely to lead them home in first.
Un vantaggio importante per questa formazione, il Cile, che ha deciso di confermare metà dell'equipaggio che lo scorso anno si laureò campione del mondo. Vedremo se gli azzurri riusciranno ad insidiare questa coppia cilena, quindi Cile e Moldavia, ma solo il Cile lì davanti a fare l'andatura.
Chile coming home to take first spot. They take it by a length and a half ahead of Moldova in their fluorescent orange vests. Can't miss them. So good race for both those crews. And coming home in third place, it's Brazil. Egypt will be in fourth, just having a few problems, Egypt, as they head down towards the finish line. But those other two crews then recontesting a position by going into the repechage.
6,46 e 65 per il Cile, 6,40 e 08 per l'Italia. Un raffronto che era bello fare subito, vedremo cosa succederà, ovviamente in finale.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a brief respite now ahead of the next race at 11:15. It's currently just 8 minutes past 11 local time here. That'll be the under-23 lightweight women's quad sculls. I just want to re-emphasize the extraordinary World Championship best time we had there in the women's coxed 4 a little while back, with Australia winning in the time of 6:52.19. We mentioned it at the time, but it has beaten the previous world best set in 2019 by over 10 seconds. I find that hard to believe, but that's what the statistics say, Luca.
They really flew on the lake today. Hanno davvero volato le atlete dell'Australia, che hanno registrato il record del mondo, e giustamente, Rob, ci facevi notare che il record del mondo è stato registrato per oltre 10 secondi, quindi un record del mondo non solo infranto ma frantumato, direi, per usare una bella parola italiana. Quindi davvero complimenti all'Australia per questo eccellente risultato nel 4 con. Noi abbiamo una breve pausa, le regate riprenderanno alle 11:15, abbiamo circa 7 minuti di tempo prima della prossima ripartenza. Ripartiremo con la gara riservata al 4 di coppia pesi leggeri femminile alle 11:15, per poi continuare la nostra maratona che si concluderà alle 12:25, quindi ancora qualcuno direbbe 70 minuti. Io preferisco 1 ora e 10, ma di fatto cambia ben poco. Avremo 1 ora e 10 di regate prima della pausa pranzo, poi questo pomeriggio ripartiremo alle ore 15 per concludere alle 15:50.
So, ladies and gentlemen, next out on the water will the preliminary race in the under-23 lightweight women's quadruple sculls.
Ripartiamo col nostro programma con il 4 di coppia under 23 pesi leggeri femminile. Pretty long name, Rob.
It is. Only 4 crews contesting it, though, with Italy in lane 1, with Bianca Safirio in the bow seat, Sara Borgi at stroke. In lane 2, the USA, Claire Friedlander in the bow seat, Kathleen Love at stroke. France are in lane 3, Naomi Seppa in the bow, Ines Bocanfuso at stroke. And in lane 4 for Germany, Rika Hulsen in the bow seat. Romy Dreher is stroking the German boat.
In acqua 1 l'Italia, in acqua 2 gli Stati Uniti, in acqua 3 la Francia, in acqua 4 la Germania. Subito una curiosità, l'Italia parte favorita, essendo campione del mondo in carica. Lo scorso anno a raggiungere Repubblica Ceca con il tempo di 6:44:31. Le azzurre volarono sul campo di regata conquistando quella splendida medaglia d'oro.
So they've just got underway, 2,000 metres up the course from where we're sitting in the finish tower. Conditions are supremely good here on Lake Varese. We've seen some incredibly quick times already this week, yesterday and today. We've now got a good tailwind here, which is helping things along. It's the water is warm as well. It's a fairly shallow lake. All makes for good fast times. So it's Italy, USA, France and Germany contesting lanes for the final, when it comes to it, of the lightweight women's quad sculls.
Una gara di quelle che sicuramente potrà andare a dare un'indicazione generale di quello che potrebbe essere la storia di questa specialità. 4 nazioni iscritte, quindi 3 su 4 sul podio. Dicevamo l'Italia tra le favorite, ma guardando subito la partenza, perché la regata è già scattata, abbiamo visto partire molto forte la Germania. A livello di colpi invece, con 40 battute al minuto, la Francia tiene testa con le azzurre che in questo momento cercano di prendersi lo scettro e la leadership del percorso. Quindi Germania, Francia, poi l'Italia per le prime 3 posizioni.
So about 450 metres gone. Germany and Italy probably the most experienced of these crews here, but let's get a bird's eye view of how things are progressing down the course from Colleen.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Rob. On paper, it's Germany and Italy with the most experience, with some of their crews having picked up medals at both the World and European Rowing Under-23 Championships last year. Certainly don't want to write off the USA or France in the US boat. A lot of lightweight pedigree in terms of university racing back in the States. So Claire Friedlander in the bow coming from Wisconsin, Ava Gamble and Caroline Bouchette in the 3-seat rowing at Boston University in their lightweight program under coach Malcolm Doldren. A fantastic coach. And then up in the stroke seat, it's Kathleen Love from MIT. So we'll keep an eye on the USA, but no doubt about it. It's Italy all day up at the top. And we know this is a test race. So a chance, Andrea, for them to test their strategies a bit, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we know that in these women's quads that they're fast-moving boats, incredibly technical moving boats, and the conditions are certainly helping those fast crews today. Italy out in front looking so powerful, controlling from in front, but behind there's still overlap for all 3 boats.
Yeah, overlap indeed. So just behind them, all 3 of those crews, that's the USA, France, and Germany, keeping in close touch. Germany of that pack at the back, keeping their bow just ahead of France, then over to the USA. Italy coming now through the halfway point with open water, looking really long, really fluid. You'll get a sense of their rowing style as they approach the grandstand. But they're at a cool 35 strokes per minute. And Germany now making a bit of an effort to push away France, definitely taking some kind of a move at the halfway point, 3 beats lower than this French crew, and then it's back to the USA. So again, this is a test race, so there's just 4 entries in this category, so it's all of these entries to play for the gold in this boat class. They're moving through the third 500, continues to be up at the top. Italy and Andrea, the local fans will be happy to see that, I think.
Absolutely, and although there's no fans up here, I'm sure that they're lining the stadium on the way down, with tickets being sold out within 2 minutes, I'm being told. So right about now, they're probably starting to hear the first cheers. Italy continues to lead, with France looking to push up at rate 37.
So this Italian crew, Sara Borghi in the stroke seat, Alice Ramella in the 3 seat, Maria Sole Porgino in the 2, Bianca Safiro in the bow seat. Tim, how are they looking at 1500 down?
Well, it's a surprise to nobody. I would imagine that the Italians are leading and looking fantastic with 550 meters, perhaps even 600 meters still left to row. The Italians look long and fluid and dynamic. It's 35 strokes a minute. And, well, Italy, of course, the most experienced crew here in this field of the lightweight women's quadruple sculls, and that crew from Italy with 2 European champions from last year on board on the stroke, Sara Borghi and Maria Sole Perugino. They are gold medalists from Kruszwika just a year ago. That's in Poland. And that crew from Italy, yeah, they look fantastic. They look very relaxed. They have clear water advantage over the crew from Germany in second position, with France following a length back, and the USA clear water behind the quad from France.
Come diceva Tim, una palata rilassata e distesa, quella delle atlete azzurre in corsia numero 1, Bianca Saffirio, Maria Sole Perugino, Alice Ramella e Sara Borghi conducono questa gara delle acque nella specialità del 4 leggero femminile, seguite dalla Germania in seconda posizione. Entrambi gli equipaggi hanno a bordo dei medagliati ai campionati mondiali ed europei nell'anno 2021, tant'è che l'Italia ha anche vinto il titolo mondiale con Martinelli, Corazza, Sali e Passini. Oggi torna in acqua con una nuova formazione in questa bellissima gara delle acque.
So this being just a test race, no medals to be handed out yet, but it's a big boost of confidence, Rob, I think, for the Italian crew to be dominating this race so easily.
Yes, indeed. I think that's right. We were just having our picture taken as you threw to us, Luigi and I. So I slightly distracted the paparazzi. They love to come and visit Luigi, and Luca. It's completely thrown me. But luckily, the Italian crew on the water are concentrating on matters in hand.
Una grande vittoria per l'Italia con la capovoga Sara Borghi, atleta della canottieri Gavirate, che traghetta la formazione azzurra sul traguardo in prima posizione.
Yeah, comfortable win for Italy, really staking their claim there for first place. And, of course, all these crews, as has been explained, will contest the final. So this is the race for lanes as Germany come home a long way back in second place, followed closely a length behind by France, and 3.5 or 4 lengths further back from them is the USA.
Una gara veloce, una gara che ha dimostrato come l'equipaggio azzurro possa avere grandi chance per essere protagonista. Bianca Saffirio, Maria Sole Perugino, Alice Ramella, Sara Borghi hanno regalato una gara incredibile davvero all'Italia, ma questo campionato del mondo, chiudendo con il tempo di 6:31 e 72, ancora presto per azzardarlo, ma potrebbe essere anche un record, quindi teniamo un occhio, perché a questo tempo potrebbe davvero significare qualcosa di grosso, anzi grossissimo per l'Italia, anche in chiave futura per il proseguo di questa kermesse iridata.
So on to the next race. It's the heats of the lightweight men's quad sculls. They're already with you, I think, Colleen. USA, Germany, Italy, France.
Yeah, they are with us at halfway, and it's the Italian crew storming into the second half. Tonelli in the stroke seat, Maran in the 3 seat, Damiani in the 2, and Borgonovo in the bow. And I'm super impressed with them because they're young. So bow seat, Borgonovo, just 17 years old, 19, 18, and then their stroke seat led by Matteo Tonelli Tonelli, 21 years old, so holding experience in that stroke seat. Keeping an eye on them, they're up at the top of the field. Germany, fantastic experience too, so perhaps a little surprising, Andrea, to see them not as close with the Italians up at the top.
Absolutely, but you can see here that they're keeping the same boat speed. Germany with Adrian Reinstadler in bow, Tim Streib in 2-seat, Oskar Krogolski, in 3, and Janek Duer in stroke seat.
So already approaching the 500 to go, 15 down. Tim, these quads move so fast.
Yeah, and they're helped along by a nice tailwind condition, and I think the conditions are, well, improving as we go throughout this morning's program of racing, because when we started this morning there was almost no wind, but now we have a very nice tail breeze pushing these crews along, and especially when you're a lightweight rower, or at least most lightweight rowers relish the tailwind conditions because you just move that bit faster, and the fastest crew out on the water is definitely that quad from Italy. They're really flying along. They're in a class of their own. Clear water behind them. It's very close between France, Germany and the USA.
L'Italia ancora una volta proiettata alla finale A in questa specialità del 4 leggero maschile. Borgonovo, De Emiliani, Maron, Tonelli sono in vantaggio netto nei confronti delle altre imbarcazioni, quindi una bellissima azione in acqua di questo equipaggio, con a bordo anche Luca Borgonovo, il più giovane atleta in barca in questa specialità, nato il 29 luglio del 2004, che insieme ai suoi compagni di squadra stanno facendo un ottimo lavoro nelle acque del Lago di Varese per questa edizione 2022 dei campionati mondiali.
All crews flying towards the finish, but that crew from Italy, led by the experienced Matteo Tonelli, the bronze medalist from last year, they are really in a class of their own, Rob, clear lengths ahead of the rest of the field. But yeah, with one crew taking a spot in the final, I think Italy has done everything they have to.
Yeah, they do look dominant, don't they? 5.5 seconds separating them pretty much between second place Germany.
Saranno contenti tutti i volontari, sarà contenta la canottieri Varese, ma soprattutto la Schiranna, per vedere il talento di casa Nicolò De Emiliani a strappare la vittoria col 4 di coppia leggero con i colori azzurri in questa del 4.
It's Italy who crossed the line in first place. They progressed directly to the A final. It's a dead heat for second between France in lane 4 and the USA in lane 1, with Germany coming home in lane 2.
Una vittoria straordinaria, gli azzurri capaci di festeggiare. Mi piace molto il capovoga Matteo Tonelli col braccio al cielo. Ragazzi, siete stati straordinari, un grande in bocca al lupo ovviamente a voi.
Just 3 boats then in the second heat of the under-23 lightweight men's quad sculls, with Ukraine lining up alongside Switzerland, who are alongside Denmark.
Pronti per voltare pagina e guardare alla seconda qualificazione del quadruplo leggero. Ucraina, Svizzera, Danimarca, le 3 nazioni a contendersi lo scettro.
Quite a battle approaching 7:50 to see who will join Italy directly into that A final, Colleen.
Yeah, it's quite a battle developing, Rob, indeed, and the Swiss are holding on to it. They were first to cross into the 500, and wow, Denmark just behind them in hot pursuit. We know that it's just one crew to advance to Final A. The Swiss crew, well, 3 of the 4 are making their international debut. Cedric Payer in the 2-seat, Dorian Rosenberg in the 3, Tommaso Fassoni in the stroke seat, all making their debut on the international stage, with the experience coming from Tobias Fuchholz in the bow. We saw him last in 2018 at the juniors in the men's coxless 4. Switzerland holding on to it, but Denmark, Andrea, right on their tail.
Yes, and there's more to play here, Colleen, than just the first through to the A final. Ukraine having a silver medal in World Cup 2 in Poznan. Denmark with the gold. They're squaring off against each other. And as we see them come through the 1,000-meter mark, you can really see the concentration on the athlete's face. You can imagine what pain they're going through. Colleen, how does it look?
Yeah, it's looking really good, and that's absolutely right. We saw these 2 crews line up against one another in Poznan earlier this year. So certainly that international racing experience, racing up an age category really pays off when you show up at the Under-23 World Rowing Championships. That's certainly the case for all for Ukraine and for Denmark. But Switzerland holding it, so they're moving through the 750, approaching 500 to go. Tim will have to get the cowbells out. It's looking good. One crew to advance to Final A for the Swiss.
Yeah, I already had my cowbell waiting, Colleen, ready here at 1500 because the Swiss crew there, all stepping up to under 23 level this year, and it's so fantastic to see them out. The Swiss do know how to race a quad, and we can see that here on the water. They have taken out almost half a length out of the very fast crew from Denmark in the third 500. The Danish quad, as you guys at the 1000 already mentioned, took a gold medal at the Poznan World Cup, but big surprise here to see that crew from Switzerland leading those two medaling crews from the World Cup races this year at the 1500. It is 3/4 of a length for Switzerland ahead of Denmark, followed by that crew from the Ukraine.
Sorpresa svizzera in questa seconda batteria del quadruplo leggero maschile. Al debutto nella categoria Under 23 la Svizzera schiera un equipaggio veramente molto affiatato. Per la seconda posizione la Danimarca, che cerca di rinvenire per andare alla conquista dell'unica posizione utile per l'accesso alla finale A. Ricordiamo una Danimarca già oro alla tappa di Coppa del Mondo di Poznan con l'Ucraina, con a bordo 3 atleti che hanno conquistato invece l'argento nella stessa manifestazione. Una Svizzera veramente in grande spolvero che viaggia a 35 colpi con 10 metri di vantaggio sulla Danimarca, poi Ucraina.
So a little over 200 meters left to go. Switzerland out in front ahead of Denmark, but the Danish crew are moving on that Swiss crew, Rob.
They are indeed, but Switzerland is still looking good. There's, I think they maybe are aware of the Denmark move. It's still Switzerland looking to join Italy directly into the A final.
Una Svizzera davvero potente, una Svizzera anche capace di dominare e controllare il proprio percorso. Bella quindi questa formazione, pulita la palata che in progressione vola verso il traguardo davanti alla Danimarca. Quindi Svizzera e Danimarca 10 metri al traguardo.
Switzerland hold on. They're going to take it by 3/4 of a length ahead of the Danes, who put on a little spurt just a little too late to try and take that first spot. So Switzerland in first. They'll join Italy directly through to the A final, and Ukraine and Denmark will have another opportunity by contesting a repechage.
Not sure if you saw that Swiss was dancing past the finish line. They were super happy, and they were dancing. It was like amazing.
I didn't notice that. Good spot. We now move on to the Under-23 women's pair.
Ed ora ci spostiamo al 2 senza femminile.
Slight change to the lineup here, just 2 heats after Austria pulled out. So this first heat, we see Germany, New Zealand, Greece, Denmark, Egypt, and the USA. First across the line goes through to the A final. They're 600 meters right now. Let's get the picture from Colleen.
Yeah, thanks very much, Rob. We're just getting the picture. And I don't know, are you having another photo taken of you? I heard that you missed some dancing down at the finish line. Not sure if the paparazzi's come back to you. But here at the 1000, we can see very clearly this race developing, and we're really excited about it, Andrea and I. It's Greece currently leading the way, as you rightly say, just first to advance to Final A. And it always makes for fantastic racing up at the top of the field in particular. So that honor at the moment going to Greece. They're the quickest moving boat on the course, 36 strokes per minute.
And in Greece and bow, we have the experience Evangelina Francau, the World Cup A final in the women's double, and experience in 2021. We also see New Zealand here, and what a temperature change this must be from them. I'm told that they were training on the North Island in wet, cold, almost 0 degrees temperatures. So do you think that they're welcoming these conditions?
Yeah, I think they're welcoming these conditions and certainly these results. We've just seen fantastic racing from New Zealand across the board this morning. It's been a real pleasure to be able to watch it from one of the best seats in the house here at the 1,000. And speaking of the 1,000, this Greek combination preparing to cross into the second half of their race. Luisa Schrader in the stroke seat and Katarina Kashkenko in the bow seat for Greece, now well into the second half. Keeping an eye, that's the top of the field, and then their closest competition, well, that's over to Germany. Germany running second at the moment, and then over to, well, it's looking like the USA with a really tight Denmark, and then back to New Zealand and to Egypt.
Germany and Greece, fastest moving boats on the field, with USA as well. So it looks like no one is giving a quarter. All those legs pushing down in the pair. We know you have to be so incredibly balanced, balancing out your pair partner and making sure you're equally pushing on those blades.
So moving through that third quarter of the race, third 500, just one to advance, continues to be this combination from Greece, holding on to that same race cadence, 35 strokes per minute, moving along, pushing along quite nicely, stroked by Christina Iona Borumpu in the stroke seat and Evangelina Fracou in the bow seat for Greece. It would take quite a bit of effort, I'm afraid, for any of these other crews to catch them at this point. So, Tim, as they come towards you, I don't think we'll see quite much of a shake-up.
No, or something, or if one of the crews leading this race catches a crab or hits a buoy, it's still possible. But yeah, that would require a massive mistake from the leading two crews, because both Germany and Greece look settled into those leading positions, with the Greeks looking very impressive. It's very long, it's powerful as well. It's a nice, well, springy rhythm there being set by the Burumpu from Greece, and they have almost a length and a half of clear water over the pair from Germany racing in lane 1. So that's a healthy margin to have. And the USA here and Denmark having a fantastic battle for third and fourth, which sees the Americans moving up and perhaps even overhauling that crew from Germany. But out in front, it's still Greece leading the race.
Ultimi 400 metri del percorso per questa prima batteria del due senza femminile, con la Grecia che viaggia a 35 colpi al minuto con circa 20 metri di vantaggio sulla Germania. Poi gli Stati Uniti, quando ormai mancano gli ultimi 350 metri di gara. Ricordiamo, le prime 3 imbarcazioni che taglieranno il traguardo andranno direttamente alla semifinale, gli altri dovranno passare dai recuperi.
So big differences being made here with the Greek pair leading the field over. It's still Germany in second position with the Americans in third. And then it's a big margin to New Zealand, Denmark and Egypt for fourth, fifth and sixth.
Yeah, it's Greece's race right now, as you correctly say, with Germany coming up in the second. Only first across the line will make that direct progression through to that A final.
Un vantaggio importante per la Grecia, una Grecia capace di dimostrare di avere ottime chance anche per il futuro. Sono 4 secondi netti, il vantaggio è 1.500, un vantaggio cresciuto ulteriormente sulla Germania, per la terza posizione gli Stati Uniti d'America, solo il primo passa al turno e la Grecia si scrolla di dosso gli avversari.
The Greek crew of Fragou and Borumpu come through to take that A final spot ahead of Germany in second place. So they, along with the USA, Denmark, New Zealand and Egypt, who are coming in a little bit further back, they will go again in the repechage. But it is Greece who go through to the A final from this first heat of the women's pair.
Grecia, Germania e Danimarca, queste le prime 3 posizioni, a seguire Stati Uniti, Nuova Zelanda ed Egitto. Passa al turno la Grecia, gli altri recuperi.
The second of these two heats then in women's pair underway, with Switzerland in lane 1, Spain in lane 2, Lithuania in 3, Italy lane 4, Canada in lane 5 and France in lane 6.
Nella seconda qualificazione il nuovo sorteggio, come dicevamo, con Svizzera, Spagna, Lituania, Italia, Canada e Francia a contendersi la piazza che conta.
Well, it's not quite a straight line from bow ball to bow ball, but it's a really nicely contested first 1,000 meters here, Colleen.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It is nicely contested. And Andrea, you'll be happy to see the Canadians out ahead.
Absolutely have goosebumps here. Oh, there they go. First across the line, we have Maya Meshkulite, Leah Till. These women came 6th at the A final at World Cup 3, stepping up. Small boats are a priority for Canada, so no surprise to see them out in front, but it's a tight field.
It is a tight field, and just behind the Canadians, it's getting even tighter. So the Canadians able to overhaul the Lithuanians in the second quarter of the race. And then the crews just behind them, keeping it really tightly packed. So France, Italy, Spain, and Switzerland. It's just one boat to qualify for that A final. The Canadians, of course, know that well, and it's looking like they're continuing to push the Lithuanians back.
Absolutely, and the Swiss have managed to come forward as well. Scullers turn sweep. There's a lot of experience in that boat in U23s and juniors last year, so they'll be looking to continue to move through the field.
Coming through, 750 meters to go, continues to be Canada. The combination from Lithuania in the stroke seat, Kalikate, and in the bow seat, Kazlauskaite. We'll see if they decide to make some kind of a push, just about 8 to 9 meters separating these two. But the Canadians, Tim, kick it up to 39 strokes per minute.
Yeah, they're tapping it along very nicely. A very high rate of striking, 38 strokes a minute, and still 600 meters left to row. That's a long way to go if you're in pairs racing to be racing already at a sprint rhythm. But the Canadians make it look relatively long and strong. Actually, we have the aforementioned tailwind conditions pushing these crews on, so a high rate of striking isn't necessarily at a disadvantage at this stage of the race. The Canadians leading the Lithuanians by 3/4 of a length, almost a full length ahead with Lithuania, and then it's clear water back to Switzerland with Olivia Roth there in the stroke seat, taking a big look to her right to see where her compatriot from Italy, Giorgia Borgello, the stroke of that women's pair from Italy there. They're having a very nice battle for third and fourth at the moment.
Le atlete canadesi viaggiano a un numero di colpi elevatissimo, sono 40 i colpi battuti dalle due atlete in rappresentanza del Canada che prendono le redini della prima posizione in questa batteria del due senza femminile, la seconda delle due nel nostro programma gare, con la Lituania che cerca di farsi sotto, una lotta poi tra Italia e Svizzera per il passaggio del turno. Solamente le prime 3 imbarcazioni accederanno direttamente alla semifinale, le altre saranno costrette a passare dalle batterie di recupero, quindi Canada che continua la sua corsa verso il traguardo, la Lituania poco staccata, poi Svizzera e Italia che lottano per la terza posizione con un bellissimo punta a punta.
So Canada still in the lead, but Lithuania making a charge for that first position there, Rob.
Yeah, Canada have looked really strong, haven't they, all the way down this course here. Canada, Lithuania, though, contesting very tightly that single A final qualification spot.
Si sono trainati a vicenda, hanno fatto una grande volata, Canada-Lituania per la prima e la seconda posizione, l'Italia dal terzo è scivolata al quarto posto alle spalle della Svizzera, potrebbe ancora rientrare, comunque Canada lì da solo al comando a sorridere in questa qualifica.
Just the final few strokes to go. It's Canada who take it by a length and a quarter ahead of Lithuania in second. So Canada through directly to the A final, leaving Lithuania, Italy, Switzerland, France and Spain to go again in the repechage. So, ladies and gentlemen, next on the course is the first of 3 heats in the under-23 men's pair.
La prossima sulla nostra agenda o sulla lista del menù di giornata abbiamo la prima delle 3 qualificazioni del 2 senza maschile.
The lineup in this first heat sees Uruguay in lane 1, Leandro Rodas Correa and Martin Zoccalo. In lane 2 for France, Matthias Meriguet and Emmanuel Mathieu. In lane 3, the Lithuanian twins of Dovydas and Domantas Stankūnas. In lane 4 for Great Britain, Oliver Parrish and Luca Ferraro. In lane 5, Germany, Yanis Matsander and Leon Bratz. And in lane 6, Hungary, Dominic Patrick Konsik and Tamas Juhas.
Uruguay, Francia, Lituania, Gran Bretagna, poi Germania ed Ungheria sono le nazioni impegnate in questa prima qualificazione. Da segnalare in questa gara la presenza di 2 gemelli della Lituania, oltre ad un atleta italiano impegnato con i colori della Gran Bretagna, Luca Ferraro, che gareggia da capovoga in questa specialità. Insomma, tanta carne al fuoco con questa gara numero 49 di giornata. È partita in questo momento sicuramente molto forte la partenza della Gran Bretagna, ma vedremo cosa succederà. Siamo a meno di 100 metri fuori dai blocchi.
So the race is underway. They're around the 200-meter mark. It'll be worth keeping a close eye on the Stankūnas twins from Lithuania because they have been silver medalists in the previous year, and they've also been in action in the World Rowing Cup 1 earlier on this year. So they're a really formed crew, but it's Uruguay, France, Lithuania, Great Britain, Germany, and Hungary in this first heat. So, Colleen, they're just coming up to 400 metres. It looks a really tightly contested race again.
Yeah, it is a tightly contested race. And like you, I'm also excited to see the return of the Stankūnas brothers from Lithuania, who just have fantastic pedigree. As you mentioned, they were at the World Cup 1. They finished 8th overall in the men's pair, racing up a class. We saw them at the European Under-23 Championships in 2021 last year, where they took the gold. I'm also delighted to see Uruguay back. So we saw Uruguay at all 3 of the World Cups earlier this season. So fantastic now to see how all of that hard work will pay off for them at the Under-23 World Rowing Championships.
And Lithuania is first through the 500. Synchronicity is so important in rowing, and perhaps no boat class more than the men's pair. So perhaps there's a secret to success here in the Stankūnas twins rowing together.
Yeah, that's right. That being both twins and having all of that fantastic rowing experience, certainly keeping them up at the top of the field. They're the quickest moving boat on the course, up at 37 strokes per minute. Still moving through the second quarter of the race, so not quite where we're perched at the 1,000-meter mark as they come towards us right now at about 750 meters down. We know that it's 2 to advance to semifinal A, B. This is a deep field. It's a competitive field. The men's pair, as Andrea was just telling us, it's a difficult boat to row, and that's why you'll see a lot of twins in this category because you need to be matched just perfectly. Certainly, the Stankūnas brothers from Lithuania have that going for them. Coming towards 1,000 meters, well, they're leading. They're our clear leader, but Andrea, your pick for second and third.
Oh, it's a tight race. Uruguay up at 39 strokes per minute, matching Lithuania in the speed per boat. An exceptional race here. So close, just a canvas up on the other boat, still overlap. My goodness, this is going to be an exciting second half here. At the 1,000 meter, this is where the field tends to separate. All of these athletes will have to give more energy to get the same in this third 500.
Lithuania all the way. Domantas and Dovydas Stankūnas from Lithuania holding on to that lead, feeling the pressure behind them, no doubt, because as they come by, we can see that they're pretty tightly packed. So yes, Lithuania holding on to that qualifying position, but the second one still up for grabs. Hungary just ahead of France at the moment. Konsik and Juhas from Hungary holding on to what would be a qualifying position. They've kicked the rate up to 38 strokes per minute. And this combination from France now stroking a little bit lower, so they have somewhere to go. It's going to be quite the battle as they move through this third quarter of the race, Andrea, and prepare for the final 500.
Absolutely. And as an athlete, this is the type of racing that you look for. You can hear those boats on either side, the blades, perhaps some calls from the boats next to you. You're right in the thick of it, and you've worked hard to get to this point. And we're coming up towards the 500 meters, the 750 meter mark. Exciting.
So it's Lithuania all day. It's France running a very close second. But Tim, is all of that training and all of that racing at the World Cup circuit paying off for Uruguay?
I think it is, Colleen. It's really looking good for Uruguay on the far side of the lake. That combination of Martin Zocalo and Leandro Joaquim Rodas Correra. They are really racing their heart out in this first heat of the men's pair. They're following the leading Stankunas twins from Lithuania, the European champions from last year, and they also won a silver medal in Varese last year. So they are the class of the field at this stage of the race. It's clear water between them and Uruguay, but the crew from France is in third position and half a length back to Uruguay, and the field is just closing up because we have a very quick pair from Germany as well coming into it.
Perfetta l'azione in acqua della Lituania con i gemelli Stankunas, già argento ai mondiali nell'anno 2021, cercheranno sicuramente di ripetersi nelle acque del lago di Varese, ma attenzione perché per la seconda posizione è una lotta a 3 imbarcazioni. Francia, Uruguay e Ungheria sulla stessa linea nel giro di pochissimi metri. Sarà sicuramente un rush finale velocissimo per andare alla conquista delle 2 posizioni utili al passaggio alla semifinale in questa specialità del 2 senza maschile.
So the Stankunas twins of Lithuania leading this field comfortably, and behind them it's a scrap, a great fight between Uruguay and France for that last spot into the AB semi-final, Rob.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Uruguay getting the better of France to date, but Lithuania really showing their class. They're coming down the final few hundred meters.
Oramai negli ultimi 150 metri i gemelli cercheranno di far la differenza, e parlando di gemelli mi viene subito da annunciare che anche l'Italia avrà 2 gemelli vicino nel settore under 19. All'esterno rinviene pericolosamente l'Uruguay. Sarà l'Uruguay o la Lituania negli ultimi 20 metri?
Uruguay pushing for the win here, but they're not going to quite hold off the Lithuanians. Lithuania take it in first place. Uruguay comes second. They are delighted with that. That means they go through directly to the AB semi-final. They pip France into third place ahead of Hungary, Great Britain and Germany. And those 4 crews will have another opportunity when they contest the repechage.
Una vittoria conquistata col cuore, forse la prima di giornata dai gemelli, la Lituania quindi che è andata a conquistare la vittoria sull'Uruguay, poi la Francia, una vittoria che sicuramente spiana la strada verso i prossimi step.
Heat 2 of the under-23 men's pair has Italy in lane 1, Canada in lane 2, more twins, this time the Lonkaric twins from Croatia in lane 3, Austria lane 4, Bulgaria in lane 5, and it looks like Canada are just out in front at the moment, Colleen.
Yeah, Canada's out in front. Andrea will tell us about that crew in just a moment. They are leading. But yes, another set of twins, it's Patrick and Anton Lankaric from Croatia. We'll want to keep an eye on them. I think they'll likely contest this Lithuanian combination that we just saw come through the line in the previous round. Patrick and Anton, they finished just 1 place behind the Lithuanian twins at the first World Cup. And they won medals at 2 of the World Cups last season. So one to keep an eye on. But Andrea, right now, it's all Canada.
Gliding through the 1,000-meter mark, my goodness, they make it look easy, but you can only imagine the power that these athletes are putting down. Julian Black is a family of rowers with his cousin Lucy Black joining us a little later on in the women's 8. Joel Cullen making his debut here. The pair train out of west coast of BC, and I can only imagine the Canadians cheering on. We have 62 parents from Canada that have made the trip over, Colleen.
Well, I'll be excited to hear them, hopefully from the 1,000-meter mark in the grandstands. I've heard that they're a lively and fantastic bunch. So they'll be happy to see Canada continuing to lead Julian Black, Joel Cullen in the stroke seat, setting that punishing rhythm. Then just behind them, well, it is that combination from Croatia, the twins, as mentioned, Patrick and Anton Lokarnish. So maybe, Tim, as they move through the third quarter of the race, knowing that they're in a really good spot to qualify, they might just hold on to this pace. What do you think?
I think that's a smart thing to do, Colleen. If you're this much ahead of the rest of the field, it's just a matter of controlling this race and making sure you don't make any mistakes in the final 500. And if there is a big push coming from, for example, the Croatians or perhaps even the Italians, let's not forget the Bulgarian pair here in lane 5, also looking strong. But if you can see a big move coming, you can react and make sure you keep your bowel ahead. But it is an impressive performance there from Julian Black and Joel Cullen from Canada. They lead by clear water over the Lonkaric twins from Croatia, who are currently in second, and it's very difficult to split the Bulgarian and the Italian pair at the 1500.
Siamo con la seconda batteria del due senza maschile della Croazia a condurre le fila di questa regata. Ricordiamo già dietro la Lituania la prima Coppa del Mondo, la tallonata fino al traguardo. Questi atleti sono già campioni del mondo nella categoria Under 19 nell'anno 2017, quindi sicuramente un'accoppiata ben preparata che conduce questa regata. Per la seconda posizione la Croazia, potrebbero essere proprio Canada e Croazia i due armi ad aggiudicarsi la semifinale in questa specialità.
So it's really good and very nice to see, actually, that pair from Canada. They have a lot of time at the backhand of the stroke, and they look really fluid. And looking at them, it doesn't look to me as that they are rating at 35. It looks much lower than that, and I think that's a good sign to have in a pair when it looks relaxed like this. So Canada leading the field, and the Longaric twins making up some ground to the Canadians, but the Canadians, Rob, are not racing towards the line. They're just cruising home.
Yeah, the Croatians have just picked up the rate a little bit, haven't they? But as you say, Canada looking very comfortable in first, Croatia in second.
Un vantaggio incredibile, Canada che ha dimostrato di avere eccellenti qualità davanti alla Croazia, poi la Bulgaria, l'Italia è attardata, ma ricordiamo che sono due ragazzi eccezionali, ex pesi leggeri.
It is Canada who come through in first place, a length and a half of Croatia in second. A really good push by Bulgaria, but they can't overhaul the Croatians. They come home in third. So Canada and Croatia through directly to the AB semi-finals. Bulgaria, Italy, Austria go again.
Avete sentito go again, questo significa che dovranno gareggiare ancora, a differenza però di Canada e Croazia, che conquistando prima e seconda posizione passano direttamente in semifinale. Quindi Canada e Croazia promossi, tutti gli altri nuova chance durante i recuperi.
So the third and final heat of the men's pair sees Japan go in lane 1, USA in 2 alongside Greece in lane 3, South Africa take up lane 4 with Romania in lane 5, and again it's looking quite close. I think Greece just with the edge here as they come down towards your spot, Colleen.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Greece out of that center lane, that coming towards us, and we see them just poking out with open water advantage as they cruise towards the halfway point. It's 2 to advance to semifinal AB. The remaining crews will contest in the repechage, and this combination from Greece, brothers, so not twins, but that's okay. We'll happily take brothers as well. The Bukouvalas brothers, Demetrius and Sisis, come through first to cross into the second half of the race, closely contested by South Africa. South Africa holding on to that second qualifying position, then back to Romania, the USA, and Japan.
and ideal conditions here as a light tailwind blows those athletes through the 1,000 meter. Their legs must be burning at this point in the time. Your lungs are gasping for air, but you have a race plan and they're sticking through it. And quite often we see a little push at the 1,000 meter. And with everything still up for play, who do you think is going to be making that push next, Colleen?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this crew from South Africa, won't we? It's Christopher Baxter setting a punishing pace in the stroke seat and looking to overhaul Greece. He kicks it up to 36 strokes per minute. Damien Bohag-Cohen in the bow seat supporting his rhythm. Tim, as they charge towards you, it's South Africa in the lead.
Yeah, it's a great push there from South Africa with the young athletes Christopher Baxter and Damien Bonhar-Koen. They are really making a big move in the third 500, and they have, they've put their bubble ahead of the Greek pair, or the brothers, as you mentioned, Colleen, the Valas brothers from Greece. But I would always fear the Greeks in this stage of the race, because the Greeks, although they're not bearing gifts, these Greeks, but I think the Greeks will race this to a very tight finish at the line. But those two crews look relatively safe at this stage, with 500 meters left to go for one of those two spots into the AB semi-final, with the challenge coming there from the crew from Romania.
Proprio al passaggio dei 1500 metri il Sudafrica passa in vantaggio sulla Grecia e quindi l'accoppiata in rappresentanza del Sudafrica, partito in corsia numero 4 a prendere le redini della prima posizione. In seconda la Grecia, sempre utile al passaggio del turno, ma attenzione anche al possibile rientro in corsia numero 5 della Romania, partita favorita ma ha pagato un po' lo scotto nell'ultima fase di gara.
So the South Africans actually walking away every single stroke. It's lovely to see them. They have a fabulous technique together. The catches are really sharp and crisp from the South African crew there. But the Greeks are just a half a length to 3/4 of a length back. And Romania is also already at 39 strokes a minute. So the Romanians definitely making a charge there, Rob, to get one of those places straight into the AB semi-finals.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Tim. South Africa looking good. It's a really good contest, isn't it, between South Africa and Greece for those two places. Romania just a bit too far back, I think.
Sudafrica e Grecia davvero in grande stile, due nazioni che si sono tirate a vicenda durante tutto il percorso, se pensate che è meno di un secondo che separa queste due formazioni. Quindi Sudafrica e Grecia che volano verso il traguardo, ma tra i due litiganti è spesso il terzo a godere. Quindi attenzione anche all'assalto della Romania.
Indeed, they are pushing in for that second qualification spot, Romania. Let's see, they've really put on a spurt here. South Africa take first, Romania have just overhauled the Greeks to take that second spot. Greece out in lane 3 will be desperately cross with themselves for letting that one slip. But what a performance by Romania. South Africa and Romania, the 1-2 there.
Una Romania capace di recuperare oltre 3 secondi nell'ultimo 500 metri. Quindi Sudafrica e Romania per le prime due posizioni, poi Grecia, Stati Uniti e Giappone.
Next is the first heat of the women's quadruple sculls, with the Netherlands, Romania, Czech Republic and Germany contesting this one. Winner takes all. Colleen.
Winner takes all indeed, and tightly contested is right. It's been an absolute thrill to watch this race come down the race course from our monitor here. And of course, now they're preparing to cross through the halfway point, right where Andrea and I are sitting, best seat in the house. So we're keeping an eye, and it's truly 4 boats across. Your pick for the leader at the moment, it's Romania. Now it's back to Germany, the Czech Republic right there. The Netherlands running with them as well in an interesting move. 3 of the Dutch rowers who won silver in the women's 8 at the 2021 Under-23 Championships has switched to sculling and will race in this boat class this year. And they're joined by Lisa Brunjek. And Tim, I'm sure, can tell us a little bit more about this crew when they get closer. But they're certainly not out of contention. At the moment, though, it is Romania.
And coached by Peter Wielsum, this Netherlands crew is looking so strong, and they were accompanied at the top of the hour by the starting horn, by the ringing of church bells on both sides of this absolutely picture-perfect, idyllic Italian lake. I bet you these athletes are just loving the conditions, Colleen.
Yeah, it's perfect conditions, isn't it? I mean, you couldn't ask for better water, flat water conditions, maybe a little bit of a slight breeze pushing them along the course, very fair. Romania making the best of those conditions. Germany just 2 meters behind them. Very similar boat speed for these two crews, and in fact, identical stroke rate. So we'll see what they decide to do with just one boat going to the A final. Tim, 4 boats in contention for that one spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be picking my winner just yet with 650, perhaps even 700 meters left to go. It is very tight at the front of the field with Germany now taking the honors, but they're trading punches every single stroke because Romania, racing in lane 2, have taken the lead, but they are almost level with the crew from Germany. The Netherlands still in 3rd position, and the Czech Republic there, who tested their mettle at the Poznan World Cup, they're in 4th. So, and then way back, I think the crew from the Czech Republic actually slipping back further, but it's Romania and Germany going stroke for stroke, and that crew from the Netherlands with Lisa Bruinings there in the bow seat. She was world champion last year in the women's double. She's now in the quad with 3 silver medalists, as you mentioned, Colleen, from the women's 8. But that crew from the Netherlands is flying. They are almost level with Germany, but it's extremely close. It is Germany now moving back into the lead.
Estremamente tirata questa batteria del quadruplo femminile che vede la Romania condurre, ma altre 3 imbarcazioni tutte sulla stessa linea: Olanda, Repubblica Ceca e Germania, che non vogliono sicuramente lasciare nulla di intentato e partire all'attacco della Romania per andare alla conquista della finale A. Ma la Romania continua la sua corsa verso il traguardo. L'Olanda con a bordo 3 atlete che sono state argento ai mondiali nel 2021 sull'8, oggi cambiano specialità e remeranno di coppia insieme a Lisa Browic, che è stata oro invece nel doppio nell'anno 2021. Attenzione al passaggio l'Olanda sulla Romania in questo momento.
Yeah, as my co-commentator here was just mentioning, the Netherlands moving back into the lead. So Femke Paulus, she's upping the rate, 39 strokes a minute, and they have moved into the lead, Rob, but will it be enough to snatch that one position straight into the A final?
It's an impossible question at this stage because it's a close race here. All 4 crews in contention.
Una grande gara, una di quelle gare che si gioca al photo finish dopo aver dominato e gareggiato veramente punta a punta. Guardate l'Olanda, capace di mettersi davanti alla Romania, per la 3ª posizione la Germania, ma l'Olanda senza indugio verso il traguardo.
Looks like the Netherlands have got this, just coming down to the line now. Their bow ball just takes over the line there, a length ahead of Romania in 2nd place. So Netherlands first, Romania second. It's the Netherlands who qualify directly then for the A final, and Germany, Czech Republic will join Romania in going again in the repechage.
Ma che gara per l'Olanda, quarte ai primi 500, quarte ai 1000 metri, seconde ai 1500 e davanti sul traguardo.
Heat 2 of the women's quadruple sculls. What will we see in this one? From Poland in lane 1, USA in 2, Italy in 3, New Zealand in lane 4.
Ed ora è un'altra volta un turno azzurro, con l'Italia presente in quasi tutte le specialità: Stati Uniti, Polonia, Italia e Nuova Zelanda.
So it was a terrific finish from the Netherlands in that previous race, coming back from 4th place to take it. Who's in 4th place this time round, Colleen?
Yeah, 4th place. It's a good question. It's New Zealand at the moment, but all of these crews in pretty close touch as they move through the 2nd quarter of the race and just preparing to cross through that halfway point. The Americans will be happy to hear that the USA is leading at 38 strokes per minute, the quickest moving boat on the course. Great pedigree in this shell in terms of the Americans. American collegiate system. So Stanford, UVA, Sophia Calabrese in that University of Texas 2022 NCAA winning shell that I mentioned earlier. Bow seat Ellen Ultiski from University of California. They're up just about a half a length or so over Italy and Poland, and the battle, Andrea, on between Italy and Poland for what could be that first qualifying spot unless the Americans hold them.
Absolutely. As we all know, rowing is a game of drag. These athletes have to be incredibly technically proficient to keep that shell out of the water, keep the bow surging, and it's really an exciting race unfolding, but is it too early to tell, do you think, Colleen?
Yeah, we've certainly still got time, and it's 750 meters to go, 1250 gone, which means a strategy is now. These athletes may decide to sprint early for that one qualifying position, and they may well decide just to hold their race rhythm. But Tim, they're charging towards you with nearly 1,500 gone, and it's looking like the Americans may be able to hold off the Italians. We've got great representation, though, from the Italians in the grandstand, too.
Yeah, I think the Italian quad will get plenty of support in the final couple of 100 meters, but I think they have to move early to make sure they get into that one spot into the A final, because the USA are leading this. It looks very technically proficient. It's a solid technique there from the USA, racing in lane number 2, but the Italians are just half a length back, and I think they are making a move now. They are almost, well, it's a canvas at with 500 meters left to go. I think the Italians heard what I was just talking about, and they have sprinted early, raising the rate slightly, but they're still at 37 strokes a minute, so there's plenty enough to go through. But Italy on the surge there, moving through the American bow.
È proprio sul passaggio ai 1500 metri del percorso che l'Italia parte all'attacco e si porta di una prua avanti agli Stati Uniti d'America. Vittoria Tonoli, Giulia Bosio, Susanna Pedrola, Lice Gnatta prendono le redini della prima posizione, ma attenzione perché gli Stati Uniti non vogliono sicuramente lasciare nulla di intentato, aumentano il numero dei colpi, viaggiano in questo momento a 38 palate al minuto insieme all'equipaggio italiano. È un bellissimo punta a punta, ma l'Italia c'è e vola verso la finale A di questo quadruplo femminile.
Yeah, it's a completely different situation from just a couple of 100 meters ago. The Italians really attacking the last part of this race, attacking that final 500. And Rob, they're coming into your view. They've moved out. It's almost half a length for the Italian quad ahead of the USA.
Yeah, it's that traditional Italian sprint you mentioned earlier in the morning, Tim. You got that spot on in this case, didn't you? And they are looking very good indeed. USA have got some work to do.
Vittoria Tonoli, Giulia Bosio, Susanna Pedrola, Lice Gnatta sono le 4 moschettiere azzurre che stanno davvero scrivendo una pagina di storia incredibile. Pensate, terze nei primi 500 metri, terze ai 1000 metri, poi seconde ed ora lì davanti a suonare la carica in questa marcia trionfale che porterà le azzurre non solo a vincere ma a passare il turno per l'accesso in finale A.
You may be able to tell by the tone of Luca's voice that Italy are coming through in first place. They take it by a length and 3/4 ahead of the USA in second. So Italy join the Netherlands in qualifying directly through to that A final. USA in second ahead of Poland and New Zealand. Those 3 crews go via the repechage.
6:24 e 92 il crono delle azzurre davanti agli Stati Uniti, poi Polonia e Nuova Zelanda.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 heats in the under-23 women's 8.
Ed ora è tempo di spostarci all'ammiraglia. 8 femminile, la prima delle 2 qualificazioni.
4 crews in this first heat with the USA in lane 1, Italy line up in lane 2 alongside the Netherlands in 3, and it's Canada in lane 4.
In acqua 1 il Canada, in acqua 2 l'Olanda, in acqua 3 l'Italia, in acqua 4 gli Stati Uniti d'America.
First through across the line here goes directly into the A final, about 400 meters gone. If you can separate these from the angle you're seeing them at, Colleen, I'll take my hat off to you.
Yeah, maybe not quite from the angle, but I admit that I have just a wonderful GPS tracking device here that's telling me the exact speed, stroke rate, and margins between these crews. So Andrea and I are just delighted to tell you that story. At the moment, it is the story of the USA in the lead. They won a comfortable gold medal at last year's World Rowing Under-23 Championships. They'll be looking for a repeat performance this year in Varese. However, their crew only has just one returner, so that's Sophia Hahn in the 2 seat. And they're likely, as we know, to face great opposition from Romania and Germany in the women's 8. They're holding on to that advantage and then looking across the field. Who's running second? Well, Andrea, it looks like the Canadians.
Yes, from here, if I squint, I can just see those maple leaves on the blades. In Canada, we only put our maple leaves on the blades during World Championships or Olympics. So such a special moment for those athletes, have their maple leaf ceremony and place those on their blades. A mix of experience in this boat. Many of these athletes have represented at juniors, but a lot of them, this is their U23 debut. And a little shout out here to 4-seat, my favorite seat, Eliza Dawson. She started rowing in 2019. And I'm sure we've got that enthusiastic parents in the grandstand just waiting to cheer them in. I'm sure those cheers will cut through the pain. But Colleen, we all know how much can change in 1,000 meters in 8s racing.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely. These boats just fly by, and a lot can change, a lot can evolve. And that's especially true of the critical middle 1,000 of the race. You've heard us talk about the third 500 of the race in particular, from 1,000 to 1,500 down. The Americans just about to cross through that halfway point. The Americans coxed by Rachel Rain and coached by the famous Kevin Sauer, longtime coach of the University of Virginia back in the United States. So he's coaching this crew this summer, and they're leading in style. Then back to the rest of the field. Well, what a pleasure to see the remaining crews nearly level as they cross halfway, Andrea.
Absolutely. So exciting, those 3 crews. You can hear the noise, the coxswains shouting at each other's 16 legs down as one, 8 hearts, as those 3 boats trailing USA are neck and neck. For the Netherlands, almost all of these crews are new to the FISA circuit. So what a ride they must be having, Colleen.
Yeah, what a ride indeed. So they're moving through the 750-meter mark. Tim, they're charging towards you. The 8s are just such a fantastic sight to see, aren't they?
Yeah, and a fantastic sight, well, not to see only, but also to hear them coming. You mentioned them already, like it's the power, it's the coxswain, it's everything, like all these blades grabbing the water, and well, it's such a great event, the 8s. It's quick, it's fast, it's furious, and the quickest boat out on the water. I can't deny it. It is the USA. It's a great little tradition they're forming because this is something to watch. With the USA lengths of clear water ahead of the rest of the field, with the Netherlands leading the pack, with the Italians and the Canadians almost level for 3rd and 4th, but yeah, a class of their own. The Americans, they're moving along. It's fantastic to see. 36 strokes a minute, and it's yeah, it's fabulous to sit here on the water on Lago di Varese and watch all these fantastic crews pass by and most of the athletes making their international debut here. But yeah, the USA out in front, followed by the Netherlands, and then it's level between Canada and Italy.
Scivola velocissimamente sull'acqua l'equipaggio degli Stati Uniti d'America, già detentrici della vittoria a Racice nell'anno 2021 di questi mondiali. Veramente una bellissima azione in acqua da parte delle 8 vogatrici degli Stati Uniti d'America, che volano verso la vittoria e quindi vanno ad aggiudicarsi il passaggio alla finale A in questa specialità. Per la seconda posizione l'Olanda, poi c'è l'Italia in terza e a completare il Canada.
So the USA, a comfortable victory, it seems to me, Rob, but the USA there, but a very nice little race there, or between Italy, the Netherlands and Canada for the minor places.
Yeah, that's really where the battles are now. It does look like this is the USA's race to win and to claim that direct qualification for the A final.
Una gara veloce ma soprattutto una conferma, la conferma che le campionesse del mondo vogliono andare a siglare un ulteriore successo dopo Racice, anche Varese 2022. Cerca l'Olanda comunque di tallonare insieme alle azzurre e ancora all'esterno il Canada, ma la vittoria è solitaria per gli Stati Uniti d'America.
Yeah, some really great support coming from the grandstand here as the hooter sounds for USA. They go through to the A final directly. Netherlands are coming home to take second spot ahead of Italy in third, and in fourth place Canada, but they will have a second chance, of course, those crews in the repechage.
Bellissima prova, gli Stati Uniti d'America continuano a scrivere la scia d'oro di questa specialità davanti all'Olanda, poi l'Italia ed infine il Canada.
So the second heat already at 1,000 meters, Romania, Germany and Great Britain. Do we have a leader, Colleen?
Oh, we do. And of course you asked me that. It's GB. You know that, Rob. Yeah, Great Britain leading in style. They just look fantastic. And I'd love to hear from you and Luca afterward about how the times may be compared between these eights across both heats. I'd mentioned Germany and Romania as a crew to watch, but GB, Andre, will be one too.
Absolutely, and you could just see the raw power from all the crews. The technique is absolutely grueling. These athletes are pushing themselves to their limits, and this race is going to be over any time here as they swing by us.
Tim, GB looking fit for that one spot.
Yeah, more than fit, Colleen. GB, I think they have this in the bag. And I'm a bit surprised, well, not because we haven't seen that many GB crews doing well, but I would have put my money on the Romanian crew because that crew is absolutely stacked with under-23 and junior champions from recent years. And they are trailing the GB8, so a fantastic performance there from the Great Britain women's 8 there. And they keep on moving a length clear all over Romania and Germany. But GB looking absolutely impressive, almost a similar fashion to the Americans. So I think we're going to have a fantastic final later this week between GB and the USA. But yeah, behind them, Romania now taking the initiative and moving a quarter of a length ahead of Germany.
Siamo agli ultimi 400 metri anche con questo 8 femminile, vediamo la Gran Bretagna in vantaggio sulla Germania e la Romania, la Gran Bretagna con un'ottima azione in acqua che sicuramente cercherà di andare a dare del filo da torcere agli Stati Uniti che hanno vinto la prima batteria. Ricordiamo nell'anno 2021 quella dell'8 femminile è stata una delle regate più emozionanti, sicuramente gli equipaggi saranno pronti a ripetersi, quindi per questa seconda batteria Gran Bretagna in prima posizione e poi Germania e Romania in terza.
So GB flying towards your position at the finish tower, Rob, but how are those times compared to the American ones? I'm just looking at my tablet here, and I think GB is just a second slower than the US at 1500. So, and well, you're in the best position to judge this. Were the Americans sprinting for the line, or were they just cruising home? And are GB doing the same?
Could be similar. USA time was 6:07.8. That was their winning time. So let's see if Great Britain can get close to that.
Una Gran Bretagna davvero scoppiettante, ha voluto giocare una delle carte più pesanti, il jolly in chiusura, e riesce a dimostrare al resto del mondo di avere ottime chance per questo Mondiale 2022.
Great Britain, I'd say, cruising for the line because it's a very comfortable win for them. Good 2 and a bit lengths ahead of Romania in second. Then Germany well down the track, coming home in third. Great Britain then through to the A final, and their time 6:08.72. So just outside the USA's time, but not much in it.
6:08 e 72, un secondo e spicci sopra rispetto alle campionesse del mondo in carica degli Stati Uniti d'America. Segnatevi quindi Stati Uniti e Gran Bretagna per la grande finale dell'8 femminile che andrà davvero a regalare una gara velocissima durante la giornata di sabato 30 luglio.
Next, we have the heats of the men's 8 with Australia in heat 1 in lane 1, Italy in lane 2, Czech Republic in 3, Ukraine lane 4, Canada 5, France lane 6. They're coming close to you, Colleen. It looks a pretty flat line from where you are, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a fantastic sight to take in, Rob. It's absolutely beautiful as these crews prepare to cross into the second half. The yellow unisuits from Australia that we certainly saw moving through the second quarter of the race, they're now in the third quarter. But as you rightly say, they're quite level, and the Aussies holding on to that top qualifying position, but it'll be quite a battle behind them because the crews, especially France, pulling up a little bit closer.
And you can see those coxswains looking out of the boat, making their calls. An absolutely thunderous race going by us. Canadian, a lot of Victorian representatives in this with 6 University of Victoria rowers. And in stroke seat in 7, we have the pair that won the junior men's in 2021. So lots of experienced athletes in these boats. But my goodness, that's going by fast, Colleen.
Yeah, it is. And Ukraine, of course, we saw earlier at the second World Cup in Poznan. So fantastic to see them back here. We'll see how that training has paid off for them. Up at the top of the field, Harry Keenan, the coxswain, holding on to that rhythm with his crew, stroked by Fergus Hamilton. Tim, they're flying.
Yeah, they're absolutely flying. The Australians are really moving their 8 along every single stroke of the race. They keep increasing their lead over the crews from the Czech Republic and Italy, with the French crew dropping back slightly and the Canadians coming back into it. But Australia, they raced in Lucerne as well. Then they were relegated to the B final, where they finished second. But I think they are a bit more sharp here this morning on Lago di Varese, because they are a length ahead of Italy and the Czech Republic, who are dead level at 1500, and it's Canada and France now level as well, just behind second and third, with the crew from I think that is the Ukraine in 6th position. But a fantastic race with Australia leading this dance.
Rullo di tamburi per l'Australia, pronta ad andare a tagliare il traguardo in prima posizione in questa batteria dell'8 maschile. Ricordiamo solamente il primo equipaggio che taglierà il traguardo andrà in finale A, quindi prima posizione appannaggio dell'Australia, ma un bellissimo punta a punta, 4 imbarcazioni per quanto concerne la seconda posizione, con una bella azione dell'Italia, Repubblica Ceca, Canada e Francia, mentre più arretrata è solamente l'Ungheria.
So Italy at 42, Rob, trying to catch the very fast Australians, but I think Australia has done enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of work for Italy to do. Australia, I think, are opening up a lead, if anything. They're looking very strong out there in lane 1.
Un'Australia che palata su palata costruisce la grande progressione, un'Australia magistrale, un'Australia che ancora una volta vuole scrivere la storia, ed è così che si vola verso il traguardo con luce davanti all'Italia, poi la Repubblica Ceca.
It's a great finish. Australia going to take it by a length ahead of second place Czech Republic, I think. Or maybe it's Italy in second. It is Italy in second. And then Czech Republic, France, Canada, Ukraine. But it is a very good performance from Australia to see them progress directly to the A final.
Quando il valore e la squadra fanno la differenza, ed è stato altrettanto bello vedere gli azzurri stringersi la mano dopo il traguardo. Questo significa che c'è ancora un po' di margine, e sicuramente il lavoro svolto dallo staff tecnico con il capo settore maschile Spartaco Barbo potrebbe dare un'ulteriore gioia. Ma non ci sbilanciamo, vedremo cosa succederà. Nel frattempo ci spostiamo con l'ultima gara del nostro programma odierno.
Heat 2 just getting underway, 2,000 meters down the course in the men's 8, with the USA lining up in lane 1 alongside Estonia in lane 2. In lane 3 it's Germany, Poland taking up lane 4 with Romania in lane 5 and Great Britain in lane 6.
Stati Uniti d'America, Estonia, Germania, Polonia, Romania e Gran Bretagna, queste le 6 nazioni a contendersi la prima piazza, l'unica che garantisce l'accesso in finale.
So 5:34.77 the time for the winning Australian boat in the previous heat. Interesting to see how that compares in this second heat. Again, we expect a really close contest here. USA perhaps just slightly out in front, but being maybe edged now by Great Britain as they come up to the 500-meter mark. Once again, it's the first through to the A final, of course, and the other crews will go again in the repechage for a second opportunity to get into that A final. 600 meters gone. It's Great Britain, USA, Germany, Romania, Poland, Estonia in that order, but it's going to change all the time.
Yeah, that's right, Rob. It's going to change all the time indeed. And this is a race that I've been looking forward to, in particular the men's 8, but certainly this heat with Germany, Great Britain, the USA, Poland, just such pedigree across the board. And the final of the men's 8 was one of the most exciting races of last year's under-23 championships when GB came from third with a final sprint to beat the USA by just 0.2 of a second and Germany by just under a second and a half. So they're back this year, completely different lineups for the most part. And as you say, GB leading, holding on to that top qualifying position, USA running second.
And this crew from GB only has one athlete, that's a coxed, who won in U23 last year. The rest of them are all new to any world championships. It doesn't mean that there isn't just a boatload, if you'll pardon the pun, of talent in this, with 3 Henley Royal winners. Also in the men's 8, there's no gender restrictions on coxswains, so we see here 2 boats coxed by female athletes, Romania and Estonia, and you can see them right now, Colleen, looking out and calling to their crews. How's the race unfolding?
Yeah, GB, absolutely thrilling to watch them go by. That's Scott Cockle in the coxswain seat, Harry Geffen in the stroke seat, Jake Wincombe in the 7, so that's the stern 3, setting that rhythm, setting that cadence. Thomas O'Sullivan in the 6 seat. So just fantastic talent across the board. GB holding on to that lead, the quickest moving boat on the course by quite a bit, up at 38 strokes per minute. So at this point would take quite a bit of effort from the USA, Tim, I'm afraid, to catch GB.
Yeah, they're almost a full length back to GB with 600 meters to go. That's a very tall order, especially, and you mentioned this already, Colleen, the GB crew, quickest boat on the water. But the USA almost matching them, so it's the outer lanes to which I am looking. But yeah, the USA, they look very good. It's a very, well, distinctive American rhythm. It looks very good, but the power coming off the blades of the GB8 is just so impressive to see. They race right underneath our commentary position, and it's that crew. I think they're attacking that World Championships best time as well, because the Australian 8 just minutes ago was only 0.4 off that time. So I think GB is going to lay down a marker here in this heat. They're almost a length ahead of America, followed by Germany, then Poland, then Romania, and the last crew on the course, that's Estonia.
Gran Bretagna in solitaria in testa a quest'ultima regata del nostro programma. Ricordiamo lo scorso anno dal terzo posto, palata dopo palata, è andata a conquistare la vittoria ai mondiali a Racice. Sicuramente cercherà di ripetersi qui alla Schiranna di Varese nell'edizione 2022 dei mondiali. Per la seconda posizione gli Stati Uniti d'America, in terza la Germania. Questo era il traguardo nel 2021. Tutti e 3 gli equipaggi sono pronti a ripetersi per andare alla conquista della medaglia del metallo più prezioso.
So with GB raising the rate to 40 strokes a minute, I think this crew is going to attack that best time, Rob.
Yeah, quite possibly. The world best time actually in the World Championships is 5:22.48. Australia a little bit outside that. They didn't really need to push any more than that, but let's see how close Great Britain get to it.
Gran Bretagna e ancora Gran Bretagna.
That tells the story for you. It is Great Britain who crossed the line in first place. It's a good couple of lengths ahead of second place USA out in lane 1. Third is Germany in their traditional now green boat with Poland, Romania, Estonia. The time for Great Britain, 5:20. I can't read that. Thank you. 5:25.05. So a little bit quicker than Australia, just outside the world champs' best time.
5:25.06, 9 secondi più veloce rispetto all'Australia, ma 3 secondi ancora lontana da quello che è il record del mondo registrato a Poznan in Polonia nel 2018.